We are a movement by and for people affected by multiple sclerosis.
Until we end this disease forever,
we will do whatever it takes
to accelerate breakthroughs.
We believe that we are stronger together.
That nobody should face MS alone.
We will be by your side every step of your journey.
From day one.
We'll be your partner through the challenges.
Sharing ideas and finding solutions.
We believe
that people live better lives
when they are understood and supported.
It's hard to hear.
But you look so good.
When you feel anything but.
Or to feel like MS is the only thing people see.
We will be there for your loved ones so they can be there for you.
We'll shine a light on what it means to live with MS.
Till the rest of the world understands.
We believe that everyone deserves affordable medications.
A doctor who knows MS.
And a healthcare system that puts you first.
You should never have to choose
between paying your bills
and getting the care you need.
We will make sure your voice is heard
loud
and clear.
We'll be your champion
from the halls of Congress
to City Hall.
We believe that you should be able to plan for the next 10 years.
Even the next 10 minutes.
Without MS getting in the way.
Complex problems take many solutions.
Coming together in just the right way.
We'll be there to help you piece it all together.
We'll work every day
so you can get what you want from life.
Even while living with this disease.
We believe that no one else should have to face the fear
and uncertainty
of an MS diagnosis.
And that those that have MS
should get back what they've lost.
Curing this disease takes a global effort.
We will fund the most
promising leads
and gather the brightest minds
to find a cure
as fast as possible.
We'll be unrelenting
until the very
end.
We believe
that
we all have something to contribute.
Whether it's time,
money,
connections,
or sheer passion,
there is strength
in numbers.
We're calling on you to join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Find your place in this movement.
We need you.
We need you.
We need you.
Together, we will create a world free of MS.
Somewhere, lost in the clouded annals of history, lies a place called the Unknown, where long-forgotten stories are revealed to those who travel through the wood. What if one of you is the monster? Why don't you turn back before it's too late?
He feeds those pigs dead people, and then he eats the pigs.
He's dashing, he's dreamy, he's delightfully dramatic, but he's demented, and he's the star of Demented Death Farm Massacre, the movie.
He's dead, and another man too, his assistant. The lab is a shambles. He's a strange one. The heart resumes its normal beat.
Only had a heart.
I dreamt I was sleeping. His fate is sealed. Are you scared, son? Mudhook. Where the catch of the day is you.
He tried to kill me just now.
He's lost. They're all lost. It's a mutation.
It gives me a funny feeling.
And now for that phase of my work that has earned me such names as...
David.
When was the last time you were startled by a sound in the night? What if this time it wasn't just the wind? What if this haunting sound kept you awake night after night? What if it was just a warning? What if it was the last sound you ever heard?
A scientific experiment turns into a nightmare as a creature from hell, buried since the dawn of time, is restored to life.
It's time for a crash course in terror at the dorm that dripped blood.
Great. What's wrong? The phone's dead. Did you hear anything up on the roof? Do you think we need to go up there?
Need to? Yeah, we don't need to do anything.
You come barging in here, interrupt what might have been the most important phone call of my life, and tell me that your mom's a werewolf? I mean, my mother's a real honest-to-goodness werewolf. Big deal. My mother's a cow.
You mean it sucked other people's brains? Absorbed through the eyes.
Yeah, dead. Right through the eyeballs. Good evening, y'all. Happy birthday to me. With COVID and THC. And if you're tuning in now or later, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us on this 50-somethingth birthday. Thank you, COVID.
Trick-or-treating and all I got was a bag full of rocks. I suppose you spend all night at the pumpkin patch. And the good pumpkin never showed up? No. Well, don't take it too hard, Linus. I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, too.
What can I do? I hear your name. Darling, down and down I go.
What you're about to see may shock you. It may frighten you more than you've ever been frightened before. Don't worry. It's only a maddening, horrifying nightmare. Or is it?
Back for the second go round in the one that was so popular not too long ago, a thing called the Monster Mash. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Mr. Bobby Pickett.
Sing it, Bobby.
Tassel always called upon his guests to tell him ghostly tales of Halloween. And Bob knew there was no more firm, important believer in spooks and goblins than Ichabod Crane.
Worth every puff.
Just gather round and I'll elucidate what goes on outside when it gets late. Long about midnight, the ghosts and banshees, they get together for their nightly jamboree. There's things that hold.
Pardon me.
Some are fat and some are thin.
And some don't even wear their skin. Oh, I'm telling you, brother, it's a frightful sight to see what goes on Halloween.
This is the groovy new intros we have for the menus that the ATS team afforded us for the Halloween holiday, just on time for my birthday. Right on. Awesome. COVID-19 hit me on Saturday. was in bed for a couple of days. I've been in and out of bed. I think I'm doing a little bit better as the days go on. Welcome to my very first COVID-19 birthday stream. Let's go for a drive. I think we're out in San Diego. We just had a big update today. And so we had to reset our position on the map. No biggie. Apologies for my coughing.
And now...
Hey, Rocky! Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat!
And now
Yozo.
it's time for another special feature.
Rocka Goth, thank you. Yozo, what's happening, buddy? Hey, Rocka Goth, it was nice to see you the other day on your stream.
Somewhere, lost in the clouds of history, lies a place, the
There
unknown,
you are.
where long forgotten
What's shaking,
stories are
Yozo?
revealed to those
Oh, dude, it was nice to see you. I love your hair. You have awesome hair. Oh yeah, if I see you on, I lurk on you all the time. You lurk on me all the time. Yozo, big hugs, man. How are you? It's been a while. Yeah, I enjoy your channel. It's nice to see you. Thanks for kicking it, and thanks for those cheers. The 100 bits. Thank you. That's thoughtful. Do ya? My daughter does too. My daughter's lots of characters at cosplay conventions. Yeah. Do you really? I couldn't tell. Awesome.
He's dashing.
Enjoy your dinner.
He's delightfully dramatic.
No hurry, no worry. That's my motto.
And he's the star of
Enjoy your dinner.
Demented Death Farm Massacre.
Demented Yozo Massacre. Yozo must be busy. Yozo, thanks for that resub. It's always good to see you, buddy. You're in there somewhere. Rock and Goth, thanks for the kindness, thanks for the smiles, and always thanks for the good vibes on your channel and mine, and wherever we both roam.
If you only had a heart.
I dreamt I was sleeping. Just make a scene. Are you scared, son?
Right on.
Bloodhook. Where the catch of the day is you.
Help me. He's lost. They're all lost.
Hey, Wisebot.
It gives me a funny feeling.
I wonder if he can't chat because his phone number is not verified. I could change that.
When was the last time you were startled by a sound in the night? What if this time it wasn't just the wind? What if this haunting sound kept you awake night after night? What if it was just a warning? What if it was the last sound you ever heard?
See if I can change those settings real quick.
Scientific experiment turns into a nightmare as a creature from hell, buried since the dawn of time, is restored.
There we go.
To life.
In case, Yozo, in case you're trying to verify your phone, you shouldn't have to. I just changed the settings for you.
Crash course in terror at the dorm that dripped blood. Great.
Let's go for a drive. We're in Southern California. We're going to go up to the Redwoods again. We're going to drive the coast. See some nice ocean. I'll show you guys the best place to get tacos is in the West Coast. Falafel Bill's. He doesn't sell tacos.
Barging in here, interrupt what might have been the most important phone call of my
I think I'm gonna have spaghetti and meatballs someday.
You mean it sucked other people's brains? Absorbed through the eyes.
There you are. That's right, we were watching you playing Tekken 7. That was cool. I love you guys who play older games. Yeah, Freeside's always playing a lot of good stuff. I met all you guys through Gucci. Gucci should be around tonight. Pull my windows back where they belong. Oopsie, come on, work with me, OBS. Don't be all poopsie. Shit. American Truck Sim. Developer. If you're watching this video, we really need borderless windowed. Yeah, we need more resolution options for this game. So I'm not having to move my OBS around, because if we have to keep effing with this, how are we supposed to promote your game through live streams? It's a simple addition. Somebody may have already done it. So let's see. Boom. Yeah, it kicks all my stuff off of my second monitor. Yeah, it's been doing that. We need that borderless, buds. We need the borderless. Come on. You know? What a pain in the butt. Simple fix too. There might be a mod for it. There we go. I don't want to see my OBS, you know. There we go. Cool. Do I have sweaty pets? Scariest thing you'll see all night. I was thinking about playing some Rockfest too. I've been on Twitch for 3 years and the chapters still do not work on my channel. Unfortunate. So if I switch games, it never registers. It never makes chapters. It doesn't register the second game or anything. After 3 years, come on, Twitch. Gotta hire some Twitch gnomes.
Well, I saw the thing coming out of the sky. It had a one long horn and one big eye. I commenced shaking and I said, ooh-wee.
Love it. Look what they did for us. But they still didn't give us borderless windowed. Right on. Oh, I freaking love Halloween, man. See, look at that. Somebody stole my wheelchair.
I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, don't eat me. I heard him say in a voice so gruff, he was the one-eyed one-eyed purple people eater, one-eyed one.
I just check this out. Need the menu to disappear a little bit faster.
Purple people eater, sure looks strange to me. I said, Mr. Purple people eat or what you're lying. He said it's eating purple people, and that sure is fine. But that's not
Yep, we got our Halloween paint job on our truck. Rock and roll Western Star. Bitchin'. I wonder if they did some creepy stuff. Put some creepy stuff in here on the road. Zombies and ghosts and stuff. That's loud, isn't it? Rock and roll. I want that sombrero. The only problem with sombreros, I gotta work out some way to put headphones in them. Come on, you guys are singing. No, you are. If you're tuning in here, there, everywhere, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you may roam, thanks for kicking it. Rock and roll. Take it, Carlos. Where we at? Should be in San Diego. I think that's where we started. Yeah, with the new patch today. Yeah, there was an update today. And so we had to pick a new starting place. I want to drive the coast. I don't know if we don't really need to take a job, so I don't think we will. I think we'll just drive. You know? My modded version of this game is a lot of the mods are out of date. And the mods are excellent mods for this game. And that, my friends, is your multiple sclerosis moment of the day. Those of you who may be tuning in now or later who just saw me do that, you may be thinking, hasn't he ever played this game before? If you've ever seen the film 50 First Dates with the little girl from E.T., sometimes I have to remember from scratch how to play a game because I'll completely forget all of my controls. And so almost every day is, in little ways, very much like 50 First Dates. But I didn't forget my cat's name today. So yeah, I just had to relearn how to do everything. And that's okay. The upside is like a brand new game. Right, Tucker? Right on. Cool beans. With no particular place to go. Right. Yep, we got our stripper lights. Ah, that's what I did wrong. There we go. Oh. Is this thing resetting on me again? Yeah, my controller reset on me before. There we go. Yeah, it's not turning for me. Come on. Let's turn. It did. It's like it switched back. Huh. Shit. There we go. It's just like riding a bike. Yeah, my left sensitivity on my left turn is not good. Yeah, I might have to reset this. Looks like I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I sure am. The response time is terrible. Let's see what we can do about that. Keep switching back. Keeps going to my hat. Yeah, totally switched on me. That's all right. Fucker. Come on, hit it right. Come on, fingers. I'm mad at my own fingers, really.
Some dark storm, jack of diamonds, just about to fall. Check the tables, lean against the wall. Then to the bar boy, buy drinks for all. Jack of diamonds is coming to call.
Map.
California cowboys all over this town with gold and silver they loaded down. It's a number, it's a shame. Me and Uncle start to play the game. Hello, Jack. Winner takes the game. Like some magician, Monk always wins.
I think we're good.
And them pigeons keep flying in. Oh, Jack of diamonds, you're so cold. Jack of diamonds wins all that gold.
Much better.
God bless cowboys. God bless gold. God bless Uncle. God bless my soul. He taught me well, boy. He taught me all I know. Taught me so well, boy, that I took his gold. And I left him there by the side of the road. Jack of diamonds, hey Jack of diamonds. Why are you so cold? Oh, Jack of diamonds, Jack of diamonds.
Go put me in more, let me put in more waypoints. It's alright.
towards my window. What do you think I see? And when I look in my window, so many different people to be. It's strange, sure is strange. You got to pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch. The rabbits running in the ditch.
Spent a lot of holidays here, almost 40 years ago, with family, relatives that live down here.
Must be the season of the witch, yeah. Must be the season of the witch. Where'd I go?
So a few Saturdays ago now, I get a text from my little sister that went something like this. Hey bro, I'm gonna drive up to Granddad's for a few hours to check in on him. I think he's been pretty lonely because of this whole lockdown thing, and I think we should pay him a visit. I know what you're thinking, and don't worry. He has that glad porch built so we can sit in his front garden while he sits inside, and we can have a little chat. I'll bring a flash of coffee and some cake for lunch. Are you up for joining me? I was snowed under with work, and it had bled into my weekend, so despite the fact that I should have just stayed home, I knew I needed to get out of my apartment for a while. So I agreed to join her. It was unusually nice weather out, even for a British summer, so I thought, why not? Besides, I hadn't seen my granddad in like 2 or 3 months at that point, so I really missed him. And as long as we kept from getting too close to him physically, I didn't see the harm in paying him a visit. So my sister arrives in her beat-up old Volkswagen Golf at around noon, and we start the drive out to our granddad's. We're having our own little catch-up. Talks range from the stuff surrounding the virus to YouTube channels we've been binging since we've been cooped up at home. I recommend Let's Read to her, whoop whoop. All is going well, and I'm using my phone map app to help her navigate, so I've got my eyes glued to my phone screen, whereas she's obviously watching the road. She's a very chatty person, so I did think it was unusual when she stopped talking altogether for a few minutes, but nothing to worry about too much. I mean, I just figured she was concentrating. I only realized something was actually wrong when she said something like, "What's wrong with that car?" I look up and ask which one she was talking about. But as I looked, it was obvious which one she was talking about. We're stopped at some traffic lights as this is happening, and at the head of one of the lines of cars, I see this gray Vauxhall Estate. Its entire back window is blocked from all kinds of stuff filling the boot, which is dangerous enough on its own. But it's also sat there stationary doing that peep and creep thing you can make a car do from just gently pressing on the clutch. At first I just thought it was kind of funny, that it seemed to me like they were just trying to make their boring old dad car bounce like some kind of Compton lowrider, and made a comment to my sister about why this is why dads should put away their Dr. Dre 2001 records after they turn 40. So the light turns green and we start moving again. But the gray Vauxhall at the head of the line next to us just sits there, not moving. So this actually gives me a chance to get a look into the car's front seats and catch a glimpse of the driver. I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe some white dude in wraparound shades lip-syncing to Explosive or something relatively humorous like that, but what I actually saw was anything but amusing. This dude had shades on alright, but the way he was just slumping in the driver's seat, head slopping off to one side, it was obvious that he was drunk. And not just, I've just had a few too many in the pub drunk. I mean, this fella was absolutely bladdered. Like so drunk he looked barely conscious. We hear a few beeping horns as the people behind him are evidently annoyed that he's just sat there, not paying attention to the lights, and I honestly thought that, since we'd gotten past him, that'd be the end of it. But nope. We hear this massively aggressive revving engine noise as the dude zooms past us again, all before he just switches lanes so that he's right in front of us. Then he slows down, right down, so that I had to tell my sister to slow down too so we could maintain a safe distance between us. He then starts swerving from side to side ahead of us as we pass onto a smaller road, so badly that cars coming the other way are swerving and beeping their horns at him for fear of him slamming into them. I know this isn't the scariest idea ever. He wasn't a bloody vampire or a skinwalker or whatever else seems to dominate all those creepypasta forums, but I cannot overstate how unnerving it is to see such a dangerous driver on the roads, like right in front of you. It was how unpredictable he was acting too, like my heart was pounding, considering that he could just swerve into oncoming traffic or slam on his brakes at any moment when it might be way too late for us to stop ourselves and turn. We made sure to keep a safe distance as the road opened up in front of us again, into a full-on dual carriageway. But he switches lanes yet again risking causing a bloody accident, but again making it so that he's on our right-hand side as we come up to a set of traffic lights. Don't look at him. Just be cool. Don't look into his car. I tell my sister, who is like doubly nervous as me because she's actually the one at the wheel, and it's her car we're driving in. But here's the thing. My sister is blonde, and she gets quite a lot of attention from boys, something that has always been stressful for me. Those of you with younger siblings will probably understand exactly what I'm talking about. You just feel super protective of them. So when I heard that doon-doon-doon sound and looked to see the dirty drunk driver banging on his passenger window, I knew what was about to happen. I instinctively turned up our car's radio, and again reiterated for her not to look at the car at all, but she was well practiced at ignoring thirsty guys, so that wasn't really an issue. But there was a new concern now, that he was going to follow us, and follow us he did. As the lights turn green, the drunk driver keeps level with us as we all start moving. He winds down his passenger window and starts shouting over the din of the engines and traffic, but thank God for the car radio, we could only faintly hear him.
With one-stop shopping at Woolworth or Woolco for your Halloween needs. Costumes from $1.83 to $3.99, like $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman, superheroes, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and a new favorite for girls, Holly Hobby. You can get wrapped candies of every kind, bubblegum, lollipops, fun-size candy bars. Get this Halloween record, sounds to make you shiver, just $1.89. Make Halloween fun and easy. Make just one stop at Woolworth or Woolco.
Don't be scared. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Biffle, here's the super sweet new cereal, Frankenberry.
But I've got chocolate sweeties for monstrous chocolate flavor.
Well, I've got berry-flavored sweeties for monster strawberry flavor.
Count Chocula.
Frankenberry.
Hi.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
Someone's come for a nutritious breakfast.
What?
Hello, my name is Boo. Let me finish. Booberry. My ghostly good blueberry-flavored cereal, Booberry, is part of this complete breakfast.
Boo to you, Blueberry.
Frankenberry's got strawberry-flavored marshmallows.
Count Chocula's got chocolate marshmallows.
But I've got blueberry-flavored marshmallows.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
And Booberry.
Fruit. Quiet. Fruit.
Fruit. I'm me, Fruit Brute, with my fruit-flavored cereal, Fruit Brute, part of your nutritious breakfast.
Fruit on you.
But delicious Fruit Brute has fruit-flavored marshmallows for the howling good taste of fruit.
Count Chocula's got chocolate marshmallows.
Frankenberry's got strawberry-flavored marshmallows.
Fruit Brute, with a howling good taste of fruit.
Igor, go and get me what I crave.
evening, Igor.
If you want a better orange soda, made with more natural orange flavor than ever before, try Shasta. It's got the bright color, the sweet smell, and the great taste of oranges. Shasta. It's the orange soda that can make anybody happy.
Kenner presents new alien action figure.
Bayman's glow! Quick, shut the airlock! The alien's locked out now! He got through! Shh! Give up! Alien can't be beat! We'll zap him with the light! Don't, he'll destroy the spaceship! We've lost! Better find another ship! Let's try the kitchen! Another triumph for Alien!
Alien action figure. New from Kenner.
Hey, Ronald, what are those things you're wearing?
My trick-or-treat safety cups. They're shiny aluminum foil with bright orange stripes, so they reflect light.
Neat! Where'd you get them?
Right at McDonald's. This Halloween, be sure you're all wearing McDonald's trick-or-treat safety cups. Children should be seen and not hurt.
Get set for Halloween. There's costumes of TV favorites like Wonder Woman and the Hulk. There's popular characters from Star Wars. And there's superheroes like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, and many more at bare bones prices. $2.38 to $4.17. And there's Spook Sticks, Face Pops, Hallowitches, wrapped candy of every kind, all at the favorite Halloween haunts. Woolworth and Woolco.
Ever hear of a gift certificate that turns into a soft drink? Oh, it can happen this Halloween. When you give out McDonald's Halloween gift certificates, kids take them to McDonald's and they get a McDonald's soft drink. Oh, what is that? A book of 20 Halloween gift certificates costs only $1. And can turn into 20 regular soft drinks. It must be the magic of Halloween.
Nobody can do it like McDonald's can.
Nobody.
Now, Milton Bradley has cooked up a ghostly game. Which Witch? You try to move through the spooky house that's full of surprises, but one to the wicked may turn you into a mouse. Or the whammy ball may drop and the witch's broom sends you back. If you're careful and reach the charmed circle, you win. Which Witch? A Milton Bradley.
With one-stop shopping at Woolworth or Woolco for your Halloween needs. Costumes from $1.83 to $3.99, like $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman, superheroes, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and a new favorite for girls, Holly Hobby. You can get wrapped candies of every kind, bubblegum, lollipops, fun-sized candy bars. Get this Halloween record, sounds to make you shiver, just $1.89. Make Halloween fun and easy. Make just one stop at Woolworth or Woolco.
Don't be scared. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Biffle, here's the super sweet new cereal, Frankenberry.
But I've got chocolate sweeties for monstrous chocolate flavor.
Well, I've got berry-flavored sweeties for monstrous strawberry flavor.
Count Chocula.
Frankenberry.
Hi.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
Someone's come for a nutritious breakfast.
What?
Hello, my name is Boo. Let me finish. Booberry. My ghostly good blueberry-flavored cereal, Booberry, is part of this complete breakfast.
Who do you, Blueberry?
Frankenberry's got strawberry-flavored marshmallows.
Count Chocula's got chocolate marshmallows.
But I've got blueberry-flavored marshmallows.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
And Booberry.
Quiet! I'm me, Fruit Brute, with my fruit-flavored cereal, Fruit Brute, part of your nutritious breakfast.
Who are you?
But delicious Fruit Brute has fruit-flavored marshmallows for the howling good taste of fruit.
Count Chocula's got chocolate marshmallows.
Frankenberry's got strawberry-flavored marshmallows.
Fruit Brute, with the howling good taste of fruit.
experts at Magic Manor have everything you'll need this year, including actual character masks from famous motion pictures. And they can show you the proper application of makeup to impress that special someone. Magic Manor's professional hand-painted custom masks start as low as $250. This Halloween, remember Magic Manor. Wigs, masks, makeup, costumes, shockingly authentic. Magic Manor, East Wind Mall.
Everybody's heading for Woolworth and Woolco to get set for Halloween. There's costumes of TV favorites like Wonder Woman and the Hulk. There's popular characters from Star Wars. And there's superheroes like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, and many more at bare bones prices. $238 to $417. And there's spook sticks, face pops, Hallow Witches, wrapped candy of every kind, all at the favorite Halloween haunts. Woolworth and Woolco.
Ever hear of a gift certificate that turns into a soft drink? Oh, it can happen this Halloween. When you give out McDonald's Halloween gift certificates, kids take them to McDonald's and they get a McDonald's soft drink. Oh, what is that? A book of 20 Halloween gift certificates costs only $1. And can turn into 20 regular soft drinks. It must be the magic of Halloween.
Nobody can do it like McDonald's can.
Nobody.
Now, Milton Bradley has cooked up a ghostly game. Which? You try to move through the spooky house that's full of surprises, but one to the wicked may turn you into a mouse. Or the whammy ball may drop and the witch's broom sends you back. If you're careful and reach the charmed circle, you win. Which? A Milton Bradley.
With one-stop shopping at Woolworth or Woolco for your Halloween needs. Costumes from $1.83 to $3.99, like $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman, superheroes, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and a new favorite for girls, Holly Hobby. You can get wrapped candies of every kind, bubblegum, lollipops, fun-size candy bars. Get this Halloween record, sounds to make you shiver, just $1.89. Make Halloween fun and easy. Make just one stop at Woolworth or Woolco.
Don't be scared. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Biffle, here's the super sweet new cereal, Frankenberry.
But I've got chocolate sweeties for monstrous chocolate flavor.
Well, I've got berry-flavored sweeties for monster strawberry flavor.
Count Chocula.
Frankenberry.
Hi.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
Someone's come for a nutritious breakfast.
What? Hello, my name is Boo. Let me finish. Booberry. My ghostly good blueberry-flavored cereal, Booberry, is part of this complete breakfast.
Boo to you, Blueberry. Frankenberry's got strawberry-flavored marshmallows.
Count Chocula's got chocolate marshmallows.
But I've got blueberry-flavored marshmallows.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
And Booberry.
Fruit! Quiet! Fruit!
Fruit! I'm me, Fruit Brute, with my fruit-flavored cereal, Fruit Brute, part of your nutritious breakfast.
Fruit on you!
But delicious Fruit Brute has fruit-flavored marshmallows for the howling good taste of fruit.
Count Chocula's got chocolate marshmallows.
Frankenberry's got strawberry-flavored marshmallows.
Fruit! Fruit Brute, with a howling good taste of fruit.
Igor, go and get me what I crave. Evening, Igor.
If you want a better orange soda, made with more natural orange flavor than ever before, try Shasta. It's got the bright color, the sweet smell, and the great taste of oranges. Shasta, it's the orange soda that can make anybody happy.
Kenner presents new alien action figure.
Bayonets glow! Quick, shut the airlock! The alien's locked out now! He got through! Shh! Give up! Alien can't be beat! We'll zap him with the light. Don't, he'll destroy the spaceship. We've lost. Better find another ship. Let's try the kitchen. Another triumph for Alien.
Alien action figure. New from Kenner.
Hey, Ronald, what are those things you're wearing?
My trick-or-treat safety cups. They're shiny aluminum foil with bright orange stripes, so they reflect light.
Neat. Where'd you get them?
Right at McDonald's. This Halloween, be sure you're all wearing McDonald's trick-or-treat safety cups. Children should be seen and not hurt.
Lego my new blueberry Eggo waffle.
Lego my Eggo.
Eggo was the first to create blueberry flavor frozen waffles, and I must have them all.
Lego my Eggo.
4 important vitamins and iron, just like in regular Eggo waffles. So Lego my new blueberry Eggo.
Lego my blueberry Eggo.
Don't put on your jammies.
Oh, my daughter called. My daughter's probably about your age.
Lego my
Yeah. And so I took a Lego Eggo break.
Clouded annals of history lies a place
Hey, how was your dinner?
where long forgotten stories are revealed to those who travel through.
She's doing good. My daughter lives in Washington, D.C. That's where I lived for a long time. Yeah, she's doing good. She was a little ill. She
Those pigs, dead people, and then he eats the pigs.
let's see if I can. There she is. Let's see, she does this.
He's dashing. He's dreamy. He's delightfully dramatic. But he's demented, and he's the star of...
Yep, that's my daughter. That's what she does. If you ever go to East Coast Cosplay, she does. She's a panel judge. She is a designer. She does character modeling for. She was on Animation Network TV and stuff. Yeah, she might be joining us here in chat, but I know she was napping. Right on. Yeah, she goes to a lot of punk rock shows. I guess I was a bit of an influence on her. Yeah, 40 years ago I had a mohawk. I used to play in a punk band in Chicago. I was an original USA punk, no shit. I was one of the first people to ever have a mohawk in this country. True story. A lot of old original punk rockers are still on my Facebook. A lot of my friends from the Art Institute Chicago. Yeah, man, I was playing in a punk band back in the 70s. With the Circle Jerks, Henry Rollins, Black Flag, all this stuff. I think I told you one time. I thought I told you one time. I remember when we started using that term, goth. My friends who were goth, we were called death rockers. We used to call them death rockers in the 70s because I was a punk rocker. I was Hardcore Daryl. Everybody in Chicago knows Hardcore Daryl. So back in the 70s and 80s, they were called death rockers. But about 1986, 1987 is when people started using the word goth. But before that, goths called themselves death rockers. So about 86, 87. Yeah, pretty cool. No, but I saw a lot of British bands over here. I remember Waddy from The Exploited. Waddy from The Exploited. The lead singer from The Exploited. The name change? I don't know. It's a better name than Death Rockers, right? Waddy from The Exploited. Yeah, because the punk rock neighborhood in Chicago, because I was punk rock when I was like 12. I was 12 years old. It was like 1978, 1977. I got into punk rock. I heard Sex Pistols. And so I had to go to Chicago to go see punk rock shows. And I was like 13. And so when I was 17, we saw The Exploited. The Exploited came to play at the Cubby Bear. The Cubby Bear is this shithole across the street from Wrigley Field where the Cubs play in Chicago. That was our punk rock neighborhood, was Wrigleyville. It's a lot of reggae bars up there, and there's a couple of punk rock bars that now, those bars are swank. But back in the day, those were shitholes. Those were punk rock bars. The Metro and the Cubby Bear, and they're still there. And Avalon Ballroom, yeah. Psychedelic Furs, all the good bands. And Susie and the Banshees. I saw Susie and the Banshees a bunch of times. I've seen every punk rock band you can think of. Seen the Dead Kennedys a million times, Circle Jerks, everybody. Agnostic Front. But the Exploited came. Yeah, we saw Subway Sex, Stinky Toys, Susie and the Banshees. The Exploited came to Chicago. Right on. Go to, if Wax Trax is still there. Wax Trax might be there. Punk Rock Record Shop. That was the original Punk Rock Record Shop. And there's a little punk rock record shop right next to the Metro across the street from Wrigley Field. It's probably still there because we didn't have the internet and stuff back like that back then. So we had to actually go to the city and buy vinyl. Yeah. So the Exploited you mentioned British punk rock, right? So the Exploited come to Chicago and they were sorry they did. So they get off the stage. We'll watch their set. Everybody loved the Exploited. Waddy comes off the stage and a couple of skinheads rolled up to Waddy, right? A couple of black skinheads because there wasn't no racist skinheads in Chicago. And so a couple of my friends that were skinheads. Yeah, we used to hang out behind Medusa's. That was Al Jorgensen's bar, Front 242. Front 242, Al Jorgensen. What did he go on to do? Yeah, Medusa's. Al Jorgensen. What was his industrial band? He became really popular. Yeah, but he used to have a shithole bar called Medusa's. And that was the place where all the slam dancers, yeah, and all the mods and rockers and punk rockers. Yeah, at about the same time that death rockers started calling themselves goth rockers or goths, we stopped saying punk rock. We didn't say punk rock no more. We started saying hardcore. We changed, I don't know, about the same time, 86, 87, we started saying hardcore instead of punk rock. Punk rock became more of like a 70s thing. Yeah, pretty neat. So Waddy comes off the stage from the Exploited, and Marty and Sonny, they're a couple of black skinheads, big badass motherfuckers, nicest guys you'd ever meet. And they rolled up to Waddy and they said, hey man, that was an awesome set, man, good to meet you. You know, we love the Exploited. And Waddy looks at Sonny and Marty and he says, F you, and he calls him the N-word. He says, F you, he calls him the N-word. He says, get the fuck away from me. Waddy got his ass kicked on the dance floor by about 6 skinheads from Chicago for being a racist prick. So the Exploited never went back to Chicago after that. So that was our experience with British punk rock. They came to Chicago and they got their racist asses kicked. They didn't finish the second set. Did you ever see, oh yeah, he got his ass kicked. He mouthed off to the wrong guys. These guys were twice his size. He's stupid. And so, there's a documentary and it's called You Weren't There. The History of Chicago Hardcore. You can see it on YouTube. You see everybody I know. You see me in there moshing and shit at the Metro. Because there was a bunch of punk rock documentaries that came out and they stated that there wasn't no scene in Chicago. And we're like, what are you, smoking crack? There's a huge scene in Chicago. Yeah. So it's always interesting talking to someone like you. And my kid, she was kind of raised around all kinds of crazy shit. We took her to 13 Grateful Dead shows before she was 1, and now she's into punk rock. Right on. Susie and the Banshees, Halloween. I was told Susie I was going to marry her. Hey, Tucker. And thanks for the chat. Thanks for the kind vibes. If you do go to Chicago, what you going to Chicago for? Why are you going to Chicago? Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks a lot. Hey, listen, will you help me out? Okay, you ever seen 50 First Dates? 50 First Dates with Drew Barrymore? I forget things consistently, right? I'm tagging along. Right on. Listen, so there's some things that I consistently forget every day, like a hiccup. The two things that I forget every day is what day it is, and every day I wake up, I don't know what day it is. You can tell me all day, and I'll still forget. And I don't know how old I am. So I was born in 1968. How old am I? I have to ask every day. I can't do the math because of MS, multiple sclerosis, cognitive dysfunction. My game that I'm playing, I just had to relearn to play it. I have to do that every day. There's certain things that are a memory hiccup every day. And no matter how many times you tell me, I'll forget again tomorrow. 1968. Yeah, we landed on the moon and they brought me back. And multiple sclerosis is here to stay. I can't remember. I can't do the math. Not even with the calculator. It's too confusing. And so my doctor said 5 words to me. 5 words. But I couldn't repeat the words back to her. It's the way it is. We adapt. So I'm 55. That's awesome. That means I can move into a retirement community with a bunch of lonely widows. That's hot. Now I'm the ripe old age. I can move into a retirement community. Right? Yep, I'm gonna win every fucking wheelchair race. They have no idea. Yeah, if my daughter's not sleeping, she'll jump in and say, hey. Thank you very much. I've had fun. Yeah, I don't exit this world. I've lived a very full life, I think. Thanks a lot. Where we're driving right now, where we are driving right now in the game, I was tripping on acid in 1988 at Christmas time. Where we're at in the game, yeah, Christmas time, 1988, I was tripping. Listening to the Doors on my Walkman. Acid is like you're on a drug, you're on a trip, you're going to hallucinate, you're going to hear things, but you need to remember that you're on a drug and it will wear off. And tomorrow, you'll be back to normal. Just don't forget that. Because when I look at the floor is not there. I'm floating in the clouds, pink clouds, and they're just going right on by. And then there's ducks and silhouettes going up the walls, and they're singing LA Woman by the Doors. And then I turn all the lights off and I light up incense and I dance around the room. And when I turn the lights back on, my friends' eyes are popping out of their heads because they're seeing neon for miles. But I wouldn't suggest ever taking it. Because once you go through the doors of perception, there's no turning back, and you don't know if you're really ever going to come back down to earth, depending upon your own personal chemistry. You know, some people, they go through the doors of perception, and I don't understand why they keep going through them. Because some people could have a bad trip, and it could affect them very negatively, and it has. You know? I haven't really smoked weed in probably 30 years until I got sick with MS and narcolepsy. And so I primarily smoke herb. And that's it. Now, since I am retired and I'm disabled, before I've been using a wheelchair user. I'm not in a wheelchair all the time, but these days I'm not in a wheelchair 10% of the time. 3 years ago, I was in a wheelchair 24/7, but I'm adapting. And so, but my point is as far as drugs go, I've been smoking herb for about 3 years again, but I haven't smoked herb in years, and maintained a professional career. But now I'm retired and disabled, and I use herb for narcolepsy and MS. But if I didn't have MS and narcolepsy, I wouldn't waste my money. You know, I don't need it. As far as other drugs and stuff, what I think I was getting at was I already did that. You know what I mean? And so it's just not something that I'd pursue, like mushrooms or acid or anything. Not even alcohol. I don't really care about alcohol too much. Yeah. Oh, if I don't have herb, I'm going to the hospital. That's all there is to it. If I don't have herb, okay? If I don't have herb, I will sleep for 2 hours, and then I'll be awake for 2 hours, and then I'll be asleep for 2 hours, and then I'll be awake for hours indefinitely. That happened to me for 10 months. It was like being in Fight Club. It was completely fucked up and surreal. I was diagnosed with narcolepsy. A good friend of mine who was a Johns Hopkins nurse for 30 years, she rolled up. She brought me, narcolepsy. That's narcolepsy. Everybody's narcolepsy is a little different, and usually it comes with cataplexy and insomnia. Nobody knows. There's no cure. We don't know where it came from. I have 5 incurable illnesses. We don't know where the fuck they came from. Hemochromatosis, I know where it came from. I just tell people I got it from Joan of Arc. It was sexually transmitted back in the day. My daughter's face palming if she's lurking. Yeah, right there. Yeah, so my friend who's a nurse, and she doesn't use herb, and she has fibromyalgia. She brought me an 1/8 of herb from the hospital where she was a nurse, and it controlled my narcolepsy instantly that day. That freaking day, I slept like a normal person. I went to bed about 10 o'clock, woke up with the sun, and it's been that way ever since. I have herb. But if I don't have herb, that crazy, surreal Fight Club world kicks in. Without it, the narcolepsy takes over and the Sandman's in control. I don't understand your question. Apologies. Let's see if we got Tracy. Let's find out. Let's go have a look at Tracy. Hold on a second. Let me pull something up. I always enjoy this. Yeah, it's such a good video. Un momento. Rock and roll. Take it away, Tracy.
My name is Tracy, and I suffer from an illness called multiple sclerosis.
I'm trying to move down to Maryland. If I can move to Maryland, I can grow 4 pounds in my house legally.
I was diagnosed with the illness in 1996. And right now, I'm 51 years old, and I find that when I use medical marijuana, I get to have a normal body for a little while, and that's a freedom that you need.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Essential.
Big time.
And it's very hard to just let go, because you can't let go. There's something in your brain that says, I'm going to make your body
Yeah, I don't need
stressed
anybody
out,
to grow. I don't need
tight
a pharmacy
and
to grow my weed
as
for
you
me.
can possibly feel. Boom. And that's what happens every day. Actually, just hope for the best.
We are very
for the
similar.
evening
Me and
before,
Tracy are very
hope
similar.
That nothing happened
With our
the whole
MS.
evening through. And
We have this, I forget what it's called, dysphonia. Our talking is dysphonia.
Good bladder results.
Hey, Mr.
Part of
Anselmo.
that has to do with medical
What's shaking, buddy?
I know it sounds strange, but when I'm able to relax, my whole body relaxes. And I'm able to actually use the restroom like a normal person. I don't take that for granted because I used to. And then I lost the ability to
No,
do
you're
that.
not. I still love you, Jen.
Medical marijuana releases a lot of that tension. And I'm able to use the restroom like a normal person.
Jen, big hugs.
For a while. Medication is the only way that I am free from the chains that bind me, and I have plenty of pharmaceuticals that I take on a daily basis that help with perhaps the progression of my multiple sclerosis, but they do absolutely nothing to give me some well-being.
What she just said. The medications that most people take for multiple sclerosis, they stop the progression. You see this? If you see me in person, my memory and my talking, and I can't hit buttons and do shit, it's not going to stop. It's going to continue until I can't talk. I can't use my arms and shit. And most of those medications that people are funding through donations to fund this research for these medications can slow down, in a lot of cases, stop that progression. But those medications, what she just pointed out, do not do shit for the pain, the spasticity. And people like me and people like her, I can't take a bunch of painkillers and shit, but I can take organic herb to help with that spasticity and at least distract me from that pain, right? So that's the very important distinction that she's making here, is that these medications fucking work. They get people out of wheelchairs. They get people back to work. Okay, but they don't help us with my legs are like samurai swords chopping them and shit. Piranhas eating them. Doesn't help with that. See, so that's the distinction she's making, that herb helps those negative physical symptoms. Okay, where MS medicines and infusions, very important, help people get out of wheelchairs and stuff. But it doesn't help us with that pain. That's the most important thing that I gather from what she is saying. And thank you for listening.
I feel okay in my own skin. Marijuana helps me
Yep.
feel okay.
Oh yeah, they're in cahoots, darling. I know. Thank you. It's very important to.
Marijuana is becoming mainstream. 21 states and the District of Columbia allow it.
Worth
But
repeating
until
is what I was
today,
trying to say,
little
and thank
was
you for
known about whether
repeating.
it can effectively treat neurological disorders. Dr. John LaPook reports on a new review.
Dude, I'm changing my name to Dr. John LaPoop.
59-year-old
Did you hear that?
has multiple sclerosis. She can no longer walk and is often in severe pain.
One thing that is just intolerable for me are these excruciating leg cramps.
Powerful muscle relaxants didn't help.
I wake up in the middle of the night. I think somebody trying to cut, trying to cut my legs. I yell out loud. I yell out loud.
And it's been
Like a dog bit me.
for me.
There's nothing
Today,
there.
for the first
That's
time,
MS.
the American Academy of Neurology
You see a little
said
bit of herb, though?
marijuana is an effective treatment for some symptoms of multiple sclerosis. It concluded spasms.
So how does that
muscle
work?
tightness,
You want me to tell you how that
and
works? I
all
can
these
tell you how it
symptoms.
works.
That's when the drug is given as an oral spray or pill. There's not enough evidence to determine if smoking marijuana is also effective.
It's really, it is effective, but not as effective.
There's lots of
You can't really get a proper dosage from smoking.
but it's all
You can't.
anonymous questionnaires.
And as we all know, smoking's not good for anybody, but I still enjoy it.
As for other
Legendary.
disorders, Parkinson's,
Good to
the
see you
panel found
guys.
marijuana ineffective for treating abnormal movements caused by medications. The data was
Dude, I
inconclusive
dance
for
better.
treating
Come on, are you kidding me?
Tourette syndrome and seizures in epilepsy.
I have a feeling it's going to help epilepsy just because
I think it enhances my
patients have
Tourette's.
epilepsy, and they tell me that
Right on.
smoking marijuana.
Thanks for
helps,
listening.
But that's not the kind of evidence we could use for the guidelines.
I'm always willing and ready to talk about MS because it's fucking bizarre. It's like the Twilight Zone. I find it fascinating. Frankly, I find multiple sclerosis fascinating.
Federally approved source for study, and Scott,
It's
now
bizarre.
medical
It's weird.
marijuana is being made legal by state voters, not by
That's
the FDA.
right.
So it has not gone through the usual rigorous FDA approval process.
John, thanks.
Thank you, Senor.
Somewhere lost in the clouded annals of history.
Oh, look what SCS gave us. Jen, how's it going?
Stories are revealed to those.
Rock of Goth, how was your day? Mr. Anselmo, what's new? Rock and roll. And tell me, I've had COVID-19 since Saturday, and I am live streaming, so I'm doing pretty good. Happy birthday to me. Welcome to my very COVID birthday. Awesome. My cat has COVID. I have COVID, but I'm out of bed. That's why I'm a motherfucking warlord. Goth, I was in bed fucking for 2 days. Saturday and Sunday, I was fucked up. I think I live streamed for a couple hours maybe. No, I was sick as fuck. I was sick as fuck. I was in bed for 24 hours. I didn't get out of bed. I was so sick. So I have hereditary hemochromatosis, which could kill me right now. I have chronic costochondritis, this is a muscle virus. I have narcolepsy, mild Tourette's, PTSD, heart disease, and multiple sclerosis. I'm a motherfucking warlord. Thought I'd share.
If you only had a heart. I dreamt I was sleeping. His fate is sealed.
And there's nothing left to do but smile, smile, smile. And the key to everything I just said, if you're gonna bring problems to the table, warlord, what's the solution? Tell it how it is, Merlin. Life is a jest of the gods. We must learn to laugh or we will weep ourselves to death. Keep on laughing, my friends, in spite of the hurdles you may face. May the glue find you laughing. Rock and roll. That's all I ask. I'm doing good, Jen. Come on over, have some spaghetti.
When was the last time you were
How's your mother, brother?
What if this time it wasn't just the wind? What if this haunting sound kept you awake night after night? What if it was just a warning? What if it was the last sound you ever heard?
A scientific experiment turns into a nightmare as a creature from hell, buried since the dawn of time, is restored to life.
I usually use matches, but I had to give up because of my fingers. I think I'm doing pretty good.
It's time for a crash course in terror.
Me too, man, me too. You just took the words right out of my mouth. Jin, it's good to see ya, you little freak.
Did you hear anything up on the roof? Do you think we need to go up there?
I think Jin might be good luck. He's a lucky little freak. Dude, hey man, how did the printing go? How did your printing go? So what was the first thing that you printed?
You mean it sucked other people's brains? Absorbed through the eyes.
That's cool. Right on. Feel free to share. I think that still works. It didn't work. Guess my Discord's not kicking out. That's alright. Yeah, I'd like to see that, man. Cool. What'd you guys grub on? Rocket Goth, you had dinner. What did you have? Gin. Mr. Anselmo, what's shaking? Let's see if this weird chat popped up late. You guys want to go for a drive? I'm headed up to the Redwoods again. We're going to go up to Humboldt County. Yeah, it's my birthday. I just saw... Today is my birthday. I usually celebrate on Halloween, and we'll still be doing haunted tales on Halloween. I'll be sharing my own stories of crazy stuff I've seen with photos of me in the photos where we were from the stories I'm telling. Yeah. On Sunday, probably. Yeah. On Sunday, I'll be sharing my own paranormal experiences with photos. Yeah, me and my daughter at different Civil War battlefields and stuff. How to stream, I got a busted old laptop I might use for that. And a lamb burger. Ooh. Quesadilla. Ah, lamb burger. I haven't had lamb in so long. Sausage and pancakes, baby. That sounds good too. Lamb, I love lamb. Lamb is so good. Right on. I got some tortillas and a little bit of cheese. Quesadillas sound good. Right on. Thanks for sharing. Man, there's this place right down outside of DC in Vienna on Chainbridge Road on 123. Dude, right on. Let's see what we got.
I went trick-or-treating and all I got was a bag full of rocks.
Yes, it is my birthday. Let's see what I did. Happy birthday, Warlord. You're a fool.
Happy birthday to you. You have a happy, happy birthday.
I'll join you, Mr. Anselmo. I think the last time I was on your channel, I think you were playing, you might have been playing Far Cry. That could have been any time. Yeah, I'll sleep good tonight. I've been watching War of the Worlds. I had to share, if you guys haven't seen War of the Worlds with Gabriel Byrne. They're in France. Dude, right on. It's always good. It's almost good puffing. It's always good puffing with you. I always know you're puffing. Oh, right on, dude. So are we both crazy Scorpios, or are you a Libra? If you believe in that sort of thing, you know, the shifting of the planets and how they affect the blood levels as they do the ocean levels, and how that might affect our paths in life. The 23rd, happy birthday. Yeah, I am. Absolutely, 100%. Happy birthday, man. How old are you now? 666, that's the best year, man. Yeah, I think we're both on the edge of a cusp. Yeah. Yeah, me and you both. That just means we're never gonna date. We'll kill each other. Right on, man. Good age. Awesome. You're fucking awesome life ahead of you. Fucking great age, man. Get out and see the world, dude. I love this modern age. Communication. Shout out, what country do you live in? All you guys. As you all know, I'm the Emperor of Easter Island. Right on, 23. Happy birthday. Are we gonna get in here and drive around? Let's get in here and drive around, listen to something spooky. I could chat with you guys all night.
Don't worry. It's only a maddening, horrifying nightmare. Or is it?
With one-stop shopping at Woolworth or Woolco for your Halloween needs. Costumes from $1.83 to $3.99.
One more time for tonight, and then we'll jump on the road. Pardon me for coughing. Oh, dude.
I'm about a mile and a half from my house. Out here in West
I remember, yeah.
Woods or
I met so many good people from Brazil here on Twitch.
National Military Park. And today I'm going to share a ghost story with y'all. But some things I've
If you've seen it, if you've seen this before, thanks for watching.
In the early 80s when my grandfather died,
I thought I'd share before I jump in. I enjoy chatting with you guys.
In the middle of the night and I saw him looking in my bedroom window.
Dude, I'd love to play some of your music when we're driving and shit, when I'm racing and stuff.
But I'm going to share with you just my first
I'm playing Wreckfest and stuff. Play your band's music.
Made the hair stand up in the back of my neck. And so,
I know you sent my link.
I live out here on the battlefield.
Sent me a link.
I'm about a 3-mile hike through the woods into the center of town. And one day, probably 3 years ago, and I practice what I preach. I walk as often as possible, hike through the woods, into town, run my errands, pick up groceries. I have a vehicle, but if you walk, you're getting that exercise that you need, that I need. In any event, I went into town, went to the library, picked up some books, and I was trucking home, and this is my usual route home on what we call day one of the battle, and I live over on Willoughby Run, and so I was walking home about this time of night, and again, I'm sorry if the video is dark. I'm always out late in the day or early in the day, but in any event, I was walking home, backpack, books, listening to tunes, and this is my usual route. And so it's about this time of day, about 5:30, and I'm walking right here. I'm about in this spot. In any event, this is the scene of the Great Battle on July 1st,
You're the man.
1863.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I like your music.
The Iron Brigade,
glad to promote it, man.
We're engaging Archer's Brigade of
3 people will see that link. I told you I was big time.
North Carolinians. And so here, right across from right to left, thousands of men were shooting at each other. And I was right here, and I'm walking right up this way. The sun was out. It was a beautiful day. It was daylight. And right from behind that monument, I looked
Mr.
up
Anselmo's band.
and saw a shadow
run
right down that hill, this close to me, and disappear right when it hit the road.
Warlord stamp of approval.
And the shadow did not have a head, and the shadow did not have a right arm. I've worked outside for almost 30 years, and at first I thought, well, it must have been a deer, but a deer in these
I
parts
thought,
would
what
have a
the
white
fuck
tail.
is that?
It must have been a shadow from a
And
hawk,
I just tried to like erase it from my mind like I didn't see it.
There's really big owls here. The thing is like I said, I've worked outside for 30 years, and a deer would have been going into the woods, not ignoring me crossing the road.
3 tacos.
Your mind, I
I stated earlier, I don't know if you heard
often,
me.
you know,
Yeah, I met a lot
wondered
of
to
you
myself,
very nice young people
if
from
I
Brazil.
ever saw something
Yepsi,
like that,
my moderator Yepsi,
what would go through my mind?
he lives in Brazil.
And
He's in the same town that
at first,
Pele was
I
from.
tried to make logic out
The
of
greatest soccer player ever.
it. I tried to, like I said, was it an owl? Was it, you know, an eagle? Was it a shadow from the trees?
The U.S. sucks,
the
man.
sun,
Go to
the
Japan.
clouds passing over. Yeah, it freaked me out as I'm sitting there trying to
Hey, buddy.
make sense out of what I saw. And
Hey,
so
bud.
I experienced what would go through my mind if I ever saw something like that. And I got to about this point in my walk, and that's when I realized I did indeed see what I saw.
Yeah.
About a week later,
Sao Paulo.
and you guys see my photos
My
on
cat speaks
Instagram, you see my
Portuguese.
photos on Facebook. I like to take photos out here. It's beautiful.
But I
here.
don't, so he doesn't.
It's
He
the
doesn't
number one
understand
reason
what
I
I'm
moved
telling him.
here. Was for the natural beauty. It's a beautiful
Hey,
place
baby.
to hike, walk, bike ride. It's full of history. You get a history hike. The Appalachians are nearby. Pennsylvania is a good place to live.
Thanks for
You're
joining
near
me on
the
my
ocean,
birthday,
you're
you
near the
guys.
mountains. There's lots of stuff to do. In any event, a week later, I'm walking, same spot, my same route. I'm walking the same spot where I saw the shadow. Snapping some pictures, sun was coming in the tree, it was beautiful. It was starting to get dark. In any event, I'm snapping pictures, I'm taking some pictures of the Iron Brigade monument up there on that hill, and I am trucking home. I get
bet.
home, I plug my USB
Someday that will
into my
change.
computer to look at the photos that I'd taken, and a nice photo of the Iron Brigade monument.
By the time
There's
you're
a
my age,
definite form standing behind the monument.
Tucker, he's a good
If
boy.
you're familiar with Civil War accoutrements,
Hi, buddy.
the man was wearing
Let's see what he's up to.
what looked like, you know, one of the Iron Brigade type hats, a type of hat of the day.
I didn't want to
In any
cough
event,
on
the
him.
guy's standing back there just
Hey, Bubba.
kind of relaxing, and he's smoking on a
He's sitting on
cigar.
my chair. My
And
wheelchair behind
the thing
me.
is like I said, when I was there
My
walking
baby.
through there was nothing there. But when I got home and unloaded the photo on my computer, there's a man standing
Thank you
behind the
guys for
monument
joining
just
me on
hanging
my
out.
birthday. Thank you
And
for the
I posted
company.
the photo on Facebook. This was several years ago, and simply with the caption, "Does anyone see anything?" And everyone saw it. The guy was kind of had a little blue haze on him. I know it sounds spooky, but it was spooky. It was what it was. It's what I saw. A week earlier, I'd seen the shadow, and given the fact that thousands of men died fighting where I'm standing, Gettysburg is the most haunted place in the United States. People see things here every day. Again, not as a result of alcohol. But anyway, that's one of my ghost stories from Gettysburg. Thanks for coming along. On my way home, if you're tuning in to my channel here on YouTube, thanks very much. And subscribe. Check out my work on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. And I hope you guys have an awesome night. Over and out.
That's when I can still walk.
Somewhere, lost in the clouded
Talk.
annals of history,
Hey.
lies a place called the unknown, where long-forgotten stories are revealed to those who travel through the wood.
Thanks for chilling, y'all. Right on. Hey, Rock-a-Hubby.
He feeds those pigs dead people, and then he eats the pigs.
Tucker sees dead people. I think he does. I think Tucker really, that's a joke, but I think he does see dead people. Where I live is haunted as hell. I live out here on the Gettysburg battlefield. Where I'm sitting, there's 50,000 men dead everywhere. Right? Big battle here. Changed the course of the Civil War. The South could not recover from this battle. And so there's spirits and hauntings, and this is the most haunted ground in the USA. And sometimes my cat, it's like Tucker's, it's like he's looking off into other rooms, like there's people standing there around the house and just odd random places. And he's looking like he's looking at something, but there's nothing there. Like in other rooms. Over here in the hallway, he'll look into the bedrooms that are dark, or into the bathroom that's dark in this little foyer here, or into my daughter's room, and there's nothing there, but it's like he's looking at people. And I think he sees spirits.
Are you scared, son?
Yeah. Especially in Gettysburg, man. I mean, people see stuff here every day. Ghosts. Good news. Coordinator, right on. Awesome, man. Congratulations. You're buying drinks. With more responsibility comes more booze. Oh, Tucker, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. You're daddy's buddy. You're my buddy. He's trying to eat me. He's practicing for when I'm dead. You know, and he can't get to the cat food. Kung Fu Tucker, get ya. He's up. He's been snoozing. He's been snoozing. Right on, man. Right on.
A scientific experiment turns
Hey.
into
Hi, sweetie.
as a
Hey, sweetie. Give me kisses.
buried
He's seeing if there's any ice cream in my beard. Hey, buddy. Are we gonna go? I love you too. You're a good boy, Tuck. He's got his big boy teeth in. Yep. Hi, buddy. Oh, you can go play.
Crash course in terror.
There you go.
The dorm that dripped blood.
He's pretty big. He's like 8 months, but he's big. Ah, I like my pipe and joints, man. I should roll a joint.
Need to? We don't need to do anything.
You come barging in here, interrupt what might have been the most important phone call of my life, and tell me that your mom's a werewolf? I mean, my mother's a real honest-to-goodness werewolf. Big deal. My mother's a cow.
Halloween pipe. Spider webs. It's like amber glass. It's like an old beer bottle. That was like Kung Fu. It was. Haunted Kung Fu. Smoke it if you got it. You bunch of stoners. You guys are all puffing. Because I know all you guys puff that are in this chat room. You guys aren't lurking, just too stoned to chat. See you later, Tucker. He's going to hunt the ghosts. Yes, he's looking around like there's something going on the other side of that door. Yep. We got a needong. Needong. I'll have to tell you what that is. In my culture and my religion, the needong is like a troll's head. It's kind of like a dream catcher. It wards off the bad spirits like a death fence. Keeps the death out, keeps the demons out, keeps the evils out. This time of year, hanging on the door outside. It's a creepy ass looking troll. Mine is a creepy ass old troll head. I'll have to show you guys. We have little skulls, real skulls we put around the outside of the house, keep the bad spirits out. Death fence. And that paganism is in that bullshit you see on the Vikings TV show. Right, kitty cat? Yeah, man, right on. Man, I saw this. My buddy took me to a bong shop on the other side of town. It was amazing, the bongs that they had in there. I'd never seen anything like that. That was wild. They had some beautiful, beautiful glass work. Big, 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 beautiful glass bongs. So big. These kids are trying to sell me bongs for like $1,000. I was like, are you kidding me? Get out of town. You know how much weed I could buy for that? I'd rather buy rolling papers, but they're beautiful bongs. Beautiful glass work. I love glass work. It's incredible. Little lightning strikes some sand on the beach. Got you glass. I am. And we're gonna drive. We're gonna listen to some spooky stuff. Tucker's in the window keeping guard. Neathorn, but that's not how it's spelled, but that's how we say it. It's kind of a dream catcher, I guess.
I don't understand it. I went trick-or-treating and all I got was a bag full of rocks. I suppose you spend all night in the pumpkin patch.
I never thought of that.
The pumpkin never showed up? No. Well, don't take it too hard, Linus. I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, too.
The apple that you were talking about. And if I missed any chat, I apologize. This chat's weird. Like sometimes the older messages will pop up later. Right on. Scroll. Thank you guys for the kind words. All of you. Rockagoth. Jen, it's nice to see ya. $5,000 for one ticket. Yeah. Yeah, it's expensive. Shit, man, I used to travel years ago. Super on the cheap. I mean, I might have to sit in the airport for a day, two. But shit, I remember 1992 getting tickets to Chicago to England for about $150, but it was on the fly, you know, open seat, cancellations and shit, waiting. And every time I did that years ago and I'd travel on the fly like that, real cheap, wait for cancellations, I always got lucky and I always got a seat pretty quick. Yeah, I can't remember. The internet was really new. And I forget the name of that service, but I think William Shatner actually Captain Kirk used to sell the travel tickets. Maybe it was Travelocity or something, but like 30 years ago, you used to be able to get on the primitive internet. Yeah, we had like, was it Windows 3.0? And, but you could get tickets, places, you know, on the fly. It was great. But to just order a ticket like anybody else, shit these days to travel anywhere, thousands and thousands. As time goes on, I was saying earlier, if you guys, by the time you guys are my age, you guys want to hang out, we're all going to be in 3D holograms, just like we're plugged into the Matrix, where I could just hit a button and you'd be hanging out with me right here in my living room. You guys know the drill, it's coming. Gaming as it is now, it will be prehistoric by the time you guys are my age. We'll be doing all 3D total virtual reality, just like being in the Matrix. So we can hang out literally in a pub in 3D in person with everything, smell, sensory enhancement for that environment. Those ecosystems will be digitally created. And that's what's coming. And I wish I was going to be around to see it. Because if Freeside wanted to come over right now and smoke a joint, he could. You see what I'm saying? And that's coming. That's really loud. But Freeside, thank you, man. Big hugs. You see, by the time you guys are my age, I'm 55. Rocket Goth, I remembered. I'm 55. Man, by the time you guys are my age, man, I'm telling you, you guys are going to get to hang out in 3D, in a 3D ecosystem environment. You smell everything. You can hang out together no matter where you are in the world. It's coming soon. Freeside, thanks for the fun game today. There you are. Gracias, muchacho. I put a special sound on there, you guys, if you want to wish me a happy birthday in the sound alerts. Huh. It was Teletubbies for my kid. Hey man, that was a fun game. I'd like to see you play that again. Are you dancing? I might not drive at all. I might just gonna hang out with you guys. That's what usually happens on this channel. Over the past 3 years, I'll start playing a game, we end up chatting for 3 hours. Welcome back. My daughter called. It was nice to talk to her. Cool, man. I like that a lot. That was really cool. I like the games you play. You guys, I like the old games you guys play. Rock of Goth, Tekken. Freeside's always playing something trippy and different that I've never seen, which is cool. There's a lot of games you guys play from back in the day that I never got around to playing ever. And here you guys are years later, 30 years later, and you guys are picking up the slack. That's pretty cool. What do you want to play? Wreckfest. I should race some Wreckfest.
Just gather round and I'll elucidate what goes on outside when it gets late.
Yeah, you guys play a lot of games. Like, oh, I remember that game, but you guys, all you guys on Twitch, you younger people younger than me, you guys play a lot of games. Where me, personally, my habit is where I'll pick up 2 or 3 games, but I'll stick with those 2 or 3 games for like 10 years. Yeah, that's how I've always been. I've played a lot of games over the years. I've been gaming for 43 years, since like 76, 77. But I don't play a lot of games. I'll like get stuck with one game and I love that game. It's just like tacos or sushi I could eat every day. You know, and watermelon and fried chicken and hamburgers. Is your kid hanging in there? Is he giving you trouble? I hope he adjusts in a positive fashion as time progresses. Sincerely. Right on, Goth. Gracias, Sisterino. Which one? There's plenty out there. There's plenty out there. Yeah, I'd love to. We should set up a Mr. Anselmo, thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Anselmo, for planting that seed. I'll consider putting together a weekly or monthly multiplayer event. And so I'll go ahead and host one multiplayer event of Mountain Blade Warband and see how it goes. And if it goes good, then we'll make it a consistent thing. Because this channel was built on Mountain Blade Warband. And I'll always play Mountain Blade Warband. What Mountain Blade Warband mod do any of you that have watched me play Mountain Blade Warband or tuned in for Warband and the modding that I've done on top of modding and mini mods and all that jazz, do you like to see me play? I'd have to say my favorite has got to be Viking Conquest with American Civil War mod coming in second. Yeah, and I am doing some assets for that mod too. And I'm still working on my American Indian Plains mod. Still working on yeah, wouldn't that be great? Sandbox, right on, persistent, ongoing. And there are some out there. Right now I'm working on the 1776 mod.
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
And now it's time for another special feature.
Gracias. Gracias, Freeside. Gracias, man, big hugs. I'm working on the 1776 mod. I'm overhauling that. I made a sub mod for the American Civil War mod, and that is the American Indian Great Plains mod that I'm working on. It's a sub mod for American Civil War mod. I have made my own mod for Viking Conquest, which is Taxale, his armor version 5 with balance mod version 13 with my own historical changes, which I will be sending my family trees and my modding, my historical accuracy mod that I made, because you don't get any more historically accurate than Warlord's version of Viking Conquest. Is I've actually done all the homework and all the family trees. I cut out all the historical bullshit. And so I did balance mod with Taxale's armor mod version 5 for Viking Conquest. And I'm going to be rolling that out this week because I always play that right around Halloween. And what else? American Civil War mod I did a bunch of textures for, and King really likes the textures that I did. And he asked me to do some, so I'll make some for that mod that are even better than what he saw that I did. I can do better than that. And so I'll be doing some textures for that. There's several other things that I'm working on as well. Right, I have a sub mod for 1257 AD, and that is a sub mod, a Mongolian sub mod. So I have a great step sub mod that I've made, and I've also made a sub mod for the Teutonic Northern Crusade during the Great Crusades, and it's a Livonian Order Brothers of the Sword sub mod that I did for 1257. And so I've got all kinds of projects. I did put that up for download, I think. Yeah, I think I did on my Google Drive. I'll have to look and see. But before I die, right, and I'm gonna haunt you fuckers forever, I'm going to try to complete my mods and zip them up and put them somewhere on a server, and you know, make sure that you guys can, if you want to play my sub mods, you can. And like a few people have asked for my mythical giants sub mod for Parisno, and my Elric of Melnibone sub mod for Parisno might be done. And so in most of the stuff that I did are sub mods, yeah. But 1776 was never really finished, and I went about fixing a ton of stuff. I've really overhauled it. Brittenwalda as well. I've overhauled Brittenwalda, and I've been working on that for a couple of years. I've redone all the textures, place names, family trees, character names, all kinds of stuff. I also fixed a bug that's been ongoing in that mod for 10 years that people have overlooked that causes fucking meltdown where the people report. There's a bug in 2 family trees, one in Wales and one up in Scotland, that will cause problems, and I have to correct it every time, and so I fixed that. I'm surprised people overlooked it for so many years. But yeah, Brittenwalda too. I love Brittenwalda. And Winter King is on TV. Bernard Cornwell, the Winter King. I love it. It's awesome. Bernard Cornwell, Hexia, Durful Cadern, but fate, as Merlin always taught us, is inexorable. And that is on TV right now from my favorite author, The Winter King. I love it. It's a great TV show. I can dig it. Bitch, and smoke it if you got it. I'll see. I think I did share that with Britt. And so I think I did zip that up, Mr. Anselmo, but I'll have to check. And if I did, I'll post that on Discord for people to see. See why my Discord link's not working. And you guys, if you rolled in, wish me happy birthday, gracias. Listen, every time you guys hit that happy birthday sound alert, I get a free lap dance from Scarlett Johansson. Not really.
Happy birthday, happy birthday to you. You have a happy birthday.
Thanks, dude. You put a smile on my face. Gracias, muchacho. Oh, Jen, you're fucking hilarious. Oh, dude, Scarlett and Angelina are coming over. You guys are a riot. Thank you very much. Selma Blair. That's fun, you guys. Thanks. You guys want to hear some haunted radio? We're driving up the west coast of California. And where we are right now in the game, in American Weird Sim, we're in Carlsbad, California. And in 1988, I dropped some acid and I was listening to the Doors on my Walkman, right about where we're at in the game. Love the ghosts. That was my very first Halloween costume, was Casper the Friendly Ghost. What was your first Halloween costume? Freeside, I remember you told me. I remember, dude. I will never forget the picture of Freeside's little devil face as Halloween costume. He painted a picture in my mind. Dude, that will forever be my version of Freeside. I remember the little devil, the little goatee, little toddler. I'm gonna cause some evil.
Wanna see a magic trick? I'm gonna make a pencil.
Goth, how about you? She's always been goth. She doesn't wear costumes. Freeside's in America. Gothic. You, Rocky Goth, that's right. I remember from your broadcast. I have relatives that live in Olympia. Right on. So you live up by my relatives. And I have a garage there in my game too. And that's why I put a garage there. Oh, I got some cool Elvira clips. You want to see some Elvira? Let's watch some weird Elvira. Shh. Hush, Warlord. Let's see. We haven't seen this one yet, have we? Elvira's a riot. I remember seeing her down in Venice Beach. Elvira used to hang out in Venice Beach. Cassandra, what's her name? Cassandra, right? I can't remember her real name. The giant killer monster. But she used to hang out in Venice Beach. She used to, and back in the 80s, in the early 90s, she used to hang out in Venice Beach, walking around, talking to people, having fun. She's a riot. She's such a perv. I'll be getting some new glasses soon. The master of the macabre.
And believe me, as soon as this movie's over,
Mine
I'll
are.
have
That's
one.
why I never leave the house.
I wonder if the fleet's in.
So much to do, so little time.
The... Oh, it must be my new neighbor, Bob Squat. I haven't met him yet. I wonder what he does. Well, one way to find out. I'm sure he won't mind.
If I had her boobs, I'd never leave the house.
Oh, there he is.
How'd you ever get me in that bed anyway?
She always used to play the best shows.
Sounds like a competitor.
A lot of her competitors, right? All the campy old horror shows. A lot of the shows they play kind of suck. She always played good shows.
Change my sign. But before I do, I've got some bad news for you, darling. My boss, Mr. Rhino, wants to show us the giant Gila monster. I don't mind looking at it as long as I don't have to touch it.
Did I say that shit out loud? I did, huh?
Anyway, it's probably not as big as he says it is. Oh, here he comes right now. Mr. Rhino, do you really have a giant Gila monster?
Yeah, a big one.
Ooh, I heard it's so big you had to register it as a lethal weapon with the state police.
The troopers were inclined to pass it off as shock or optical illusion.
I know what you mean. I get the
She'd be cruising around Venice Beach, right? It's Santa Monica. It's hot as hell outside. And she's wearing her getup, her outfit. And it's hot as shit outside.
Oh, I just love it when the star of the movie gets blown to bits at the end. Because then you know you won't have to sit through a sequel. Boy, too bad they didn't do that with Rocky. And now I've got a special treat for you
Oh,
as we
Elvira.
get up close and personal with Elvira.
You're in trouble. Oh, Elvira, you're a troublemaker. You're gonna get me kicked off of Twitch.
Okay, that's better. I'll just pick a card at random from my up close and personal file. Dear Elvira, my name is Siggy. I'm a psychiatrist in Vienna.
That was me.
Every night I dream that you and I are on a big train barreling through a long...
I used to write her this shit all the
smoking
time.
cigars and eating ice cream cones. We arrive at the Eiffel Tower where we do away with my father and run off with my mother. I thought I was the only one who had that dream. But enough about me. Yeah, more than enough. What I'd like to know is, who was the last person you dated? Oh, good question. Let's see if anyone in our studio audience knows. Johnny, what do they get if they have the right answer?
My daughter's the same way. I'm like, aren't you gonna be hot in that? It's like, no.
That is quite a prize, I tell you. I've ridden his elephant, and I couldn't sit down for a week. Okay, who was the last guy I dated? Anybody?
Elvis, one of the Everly. Bill Darnell. Kate Smith.
Hey, hold on. Kate Smith and I
This
were
is
just good
funny.
friends.
I did see this. I remember
None
this.
other than that singing heartthrob of the giant Gila monster, Chase Winston.
Chase Winston. Look at this guy.
You didn't tell us. Well, I didn't know there was anything I'd want to admit to.
We're shaking
Oh, yeah?
Chase.
Well, you weren't so hot yourself, Chase. You know, you can tell a lot about a man by the size of his banjo. And listen, gals, never go out with a guy whose idea of a good time is running over lizards with his hot rod. But just because I'm never going out with that jerk again doesn't mean it's all over between you and me, darling. So whenever you want to get up close and personal, you know where to find me. Until next time, unpleasant dreams.
Hasta la vista, sister. Cool.
Somewhere, lost in the clouded annals of history,
Let's
lies
go for a
place
drive.
called
Listen
the
to something
unknown,
spooky.
where long-forgotten
While I'm
stories
still
are revealed to those
conscious.
who travel through the wood.
You guys, all of you, thank you for the kind company and thank you for the kind vibes.
One of you is the monster.
Much appreciated.
Why don't you turn back before it's too late? He feeds those pigs dead people, and then he eats the pigs.
I have to move my windows around. We'll see how far we can make it. Let's see if we can make it up to Humboldt County. Make it up to the Canadian border. Go for a nice drive on the coast.
He's dashing. He's dreamy. He's delightfully dramatic. But he's demented.
We are
My
back.
sister is keeping her eyes on the road, and I'm staring the guy out at this point. Like I'm scared, but I'm only just really bloody angry now. He's shouting at her, making disgusting gestures with his fingers and tongue. I was ashamed that another grown man...
Nothing.
Like
We're
that.
just going for a drive.
He's not paying attention to
We're
the
just
road.
cruising.
He's not paying attention to his own driving either, so I watch in absolute horror as he starts drifting over to us slowly but surely. His passenger door is getting closer.
I'm making enough dough. I've got enough drivers. I've got like a dozen Charlie's Angels. I have like a dozen female drivers. Oh, we got to see this. I got to show you guys. This is great.
This world was being watched closely by intelligences.
Yeah, this is
greater than
cool.
man's.
I'm making enough money because I have enough employees
We
now.
know now that as human
I have
beings,
enough employees. They're making me enough bank. I don't really have to work. So we got the fat truck. We got the presidential truck, right? This is like really kind of a retiree CEO truck, right? Got my Halloween paint job on. Got Tucker in the co-pilot. So we can just cruise around and we can explore the world and we can drive on every road and we can go sightseeing and we can unlock and reveal all of the Easter eggs and the vistas and the UFOs and maybe the haunted houses. And so the kind developers at SCS Software, as soon as the menu disappears, did this kick-ass cool scene. We had an update today. And so they added this badass, very cool scene for Halloween for the game. And I hope I already made video, so because this will probably disappear after the holidays. So I'm curious, what other Easter eggs are there? What other Easter eggs do we have in the game? I hope you like my weird mixes. This is cool. I was just tickled. I was tickled when I saw this. I was like, oh, that's cool. Because I went to fire up the game before the stream, and there was a big update, and I was like, cool. And I saw this. I was like, oh, this is great. This is cool. Look what they did. Just for Halloween, bitchin'. So that was a nice little birthday present. Thank you, SCS. They did that just for me. I told you I was famous. So we got our Halloween paint job. Gracias, man. Yeah, I want to do something for Halloween, right? So we got our spooky paint job.
We understand that viewers in some parts of the region
Somebody just ran into me. Oh, you son of a bitch.
We're sorry about this, and we're doing our best to rectify it.
Let's get the heck out of here. There we go.
The truth
I'm not doing so good.
But first, it will really tick you
There we go.
off. You're listening to The Conspiracy Show.
No, we're not. We're going to listen to some haunted shows. I love. This is pretty good. This is a pretty good show, Haunting in Essex. But the haunted tales is where we want to be.
Possession of Mo. From Dell 6511.
Tucker's kicking it with us.
I've always
Now I'll
believed
get
in a higher
reacclimated.
power, and to some I understand that's a sensitive subject. But no
And
matter
here's where
what
we are.
anyone
We're in
believes,
Carlsbad,
I
California.
think if you believe in good,
A bunch of relatives
you really
down there.
have to
We're going up
believe
the
in
coast.
evil as well. You can't just have one without the other. So with that in mind, I'd like to tell you about 2 encounters that made me a believer in evil spirits.
Now I have a
I used
mod
to
where I
have
can
this
just buy a
friend.
Jeep, I can
We'll
buy a
call him
car,
Mo for
I can just drive a
privacy's
car around.
Mo and I grew up together, and we were as close as brothers for many years.
Bitchin'.
As we
On the
got
road
older,
again.
we went our separate ways, but that's another story. Anyway, he and I used to do everything together, and he even lived with me a couple
Right
of
on.
times. Mo
Dude,
had a
welcome to
rough
Southern
upbringing,
California.
So my dad really
Carlsbad.
felt
I have a
the
lot
need
of
to help him
relatives
out.
live down here.
And I was happy because I wasn't alone anymore. I was an only child for a military mechanic and a waitress, so I would spend a lot of time at home by myself. We had a mutual friend who was a youth pastor that we went to school with.
I'm hugging the
He was
coast,
young
staying
for
by
that
the
job
ocean.
title, but he was very charismatic,
miss the ocean.
and we enjoyed the church
Welcome
he was at.
Carlsbad.
So Mo and I decided to start going there.
Fuck yeah, Carlsbad.
One summer, we were
New
having
Year's
a
Day,
revival. with a preacher who
1988.
was doing sermons about
New Year's
something he
Day,
called
1988.
spiritual
I got
warfare.
6 taquitos and a
Mo and I
Tecate in
were
a
a
can.
little bit skeptical,
6
as we had never
taquitos
really thought
and
much
Tecate in a
about
can.
demons or
Down at the
evil
beach in
spirits.
Carlsbad for $2.
We left the church one night, making our way back
New Year's
home,
Day,
which was about a
$2.
45-minute drive through the woods and
Carne
farmlands
asada
of southern
taquitos.
Georgia.
$2.
I noticed at some point, Mo got really quiet. This
Right
wasn't
on,
like
Rocky
him
Goff.
at all. He
Rest
just kept
well and
staring
dream
out
good
the
dreams,
window
and thank
into
you for the
woods,
kind
which we were
vibes and the
driving
kind
through.
birthday wishes and the
Hey, what
nice
in the world
friendship.
are you
I'll
doing,
see you
bro?
soon.
I
Dream
finally
good
asked.
dreams and please be safe
No
tomorrow.
reply.
Thanks for chilling.
Hey, are you okay?
Thanks
I
for the
asked,
kind birthday
this
wishes.
time with a little more bass in my voice to get his attention. Still,
It's a pleasure meeting
nothing.
ya.
So then I tapped his shoulder. He didn't move.
Met a lot
and
of
he
good
didn't
people
speak.
through Gucci.
This continued on for about 15
Gucci
minutes.
messaged me, wished me a happy birthday, sent me
Finally,
some
out of
funny ass
nowhere, he
pictures
asked,
of cats
"Can you
acting
see
weird
it?"
for birthdays.
See what? He then pointed out the window. I hadn't been paying attention before, but now it was all too clear. What we were seeing defied all logic. There was definitely something running in the woods beside us. It was keeping pace with our car, and the car was going at least 60 miles per hour. The thing, whatever it was just
Gucci's a
inside the
friend.
tree line, running straight
Gucci's
through
got
the
heart.
trees, across bridges, and sometimes through nothing but thin air.
That's why he drifts so good.
This thing had the shape of a human, but its head was in the shape of an upside-down triangle. It was black, blacker than the night around it, with orange and yellow running through its body, almost like veins.
You guys ever seen
It had
anything
long
like
black
that?
hair, glowing
Cryptid?
yellow eyes, and horns that curved back.
I don't think I've ever
towards
seen
the
anything
eyes.
like that.
But the worst part was the razor-sharp teeth.
Right on.
They were jagged and
Be
appeared to
safe.
be covered in
Give your
blood.
husband a high five. Pet that cat.
I had
Dream
never
good
seen
dreams.
anything like it. Not before, not since. And I hope I never do again. I floored the gas pedal on my 80s model Chrysler New Yorker, hitting 80, trying to just outrun this thing. But suddenly, it was gone. Before I could let out a sigh of relief, something hit the
I'm waiting
top
for
of the
something
car.
creepy to like jump out in the road.
Not hard, like something large, but more like an acorn or something just fell on it. Right after that, I saw this black hand with claws come sliding down the top of my windshield where my rearview mirror was. Instantly, I slammed on the brakes,
Like this
and
game a
that
lot.
hand disappeared. But we didn't see anything fall off the car. Until this point, Mo had been silent. Suddenly, he just screamed, "Get us out of here!" We drove away as quickly as we possibly could. We didn't see anything else on the way home, and we didn't stop again until we arrived back at my house. We were silent the whole way there. Only after we got ready for bed did Mo finally want to talk about what we saw. We discussed it for hours, wondering if the church service had anything to do with what we'd seen. We tried to talk to a couple of people about it, but they were very skeptical, so we just stopped bringing it up. We didn't want to be called liars or be ridiculed.
Wonder what they were
But we
seeing.
knew what we saw, and it definitely wasn't natural. Fast forward years later, and I had moved up to North Georgia. My mother and father had split up, and I moved in with my dad. Eventually,
4:20 a.m.
Mo was looking for a change, and he asked if he could stay with us for a bit. I was more than happy to have him back around. I'd started dating a girl whose uncle was a pastor for a small church, and I taught Sunday school there. Mo wanted to give the church I was at a try, and he fit in perfect with all of us. Once again, everything just seemed right with the world, or so I thought. After Mo moved in, things at my house got a little weird. We would hear footsteps in the living room outside my bedroom door, and we would see flashes of light, like a shadow walking past a lamp on the floor. We would check, but no one would be there. We just chalked it up to being in an old house with creaking wood floors. After church one Sunday night, we went back home to get some rest and to get ready for work the next day. I was laying out my uniform when Mo walked into my room with a weird look on his face. He almost looked like he was in pain. "Call the pastor, now. I feel like I'm gonna die. This can't wait."
Demon's trying to get in him.
I was caught off guard. He had seemed fine not 5 minutes earlier, but now he didn't look like the same person. His eyes were black. His face looked almost sunk in, like a corpse, and his skin looked almost yellow. I asked him if he needed to go to the hospital or something, but he screamed back, "No, it's not medical. He won't leave me alone." Who?" I asked, in almost a low growl, in a voice that was not his. He just looked at me and said, "You know." I called the pastor, who told me to meet him at the church immediately. We flew back to the church, arriving at almost the same time as the pastor. "Get inside, quick," the pastor said, as we helped my almost unconscious friend into the building. We set him up on a pew, and we started to pray for him. The pastor prayed for deliverance from this spirit, and Mo started getting nauseous. He even threw up a couple of times. All of a sudden, I felt what can only be described as a hurricane-force wind blowing past me towards the front door. Then Mo seemed to regain control of himself, as his color and eyes went back to normal. The pastor said that he had felt the spirit earlier, but it was unclear to him where it was coming from, that he had felt something messing with him, trying to discourage him during the services that day. As we talked about this, and we walked outside, across the street there were cop cars. When the cops saw us outside, they came over and they asked us if we had seen anyone near the building, because apparently an alarm had been tripped and they were sent to investigate. We just looked at each other in shock. Could this spirit have done that as it fled the church? Everything went back to normal after that. Mo found a job and got his own place, and I moved after my father passed away and began building a new life. I often think about those nights with Mo and wonder what he's up to these days. I hope nothing like that ever came after him again. I'm still interested in the paranormal, and I'm definitely conscious of the fact that there are some things that inhabit this world which do not want what's best for you.
You ain't kidding, buddy.
I saw a werewolf twice. From Swiss Dog. These events happened 7 years apart. My first encounter happened when I was 11 years old. It was 2013. I'd asked my dad if I could spend time at my friend John's house. He said, "Sure, just be back by 9 p.m., okay? And take Ruppy and Clark with you." Ruppy was my 4-year-old Rottweiler, and Clark was my 1-year-old standard poodle. I had another dog, Keys, a 6-year-old bulldog, but he stayed at the house to keep Dad company. Later on that night, it was getting close to 9 p.m., so I started to walk back home. I lived in the country at the time. There were a lot of wild animals around. As the dogs and I were walking, I began to hear noises, but I was thinking it was just a raccoon. We were about 6 feet away from my driveway when Ruppy stopped and started to growl. I thought he was just growling at another animal, but when Clark started to growl too, I knew it was something worse than that. Something was wrong. You see, Clark never really growled at anything. I was getting ready to say something when a large, dark creature ran out from behind a tree and took off running. I stood there, startled, dumbfounded. From what I saw, I remember thinking right there, that couldn't be real, right? My dogs and I then ran and ran until we made it back home to the front door. We burst through, and Dad said, "What in the world?" before he slammed the door and grabbed his gun. My dad looked at me and said, "Stay inside. There's something out there."
Do some stunts.
Fast forward to 2020. I was 18. Clark and Keys were gone by then. My dad and I were driving back home from the lake one night with our dogs, Zach, a border collie, Lucky, a Doberman pinscher, and Loki, a black wolf Malamute mix. As we drove, everything was really quiet.
Santa Monica.
Suddenly, I saw something dart across the road. I quickly yelled, "Dad, look out!" He slammed on his brakes and said, "Another one?" I looked at him, and I told him we have to get home. I looked back at our dogs. They were growling and baring their teeth. We made it home fast and slept in the living room. Nowadays, my dad and I avoid walking or driving at night whenever possible. Road Trip from Hell, from Odd Bolio. When I was 20 years old, I was driving from New York to my home in Florida. I stayed overnight at my grandparents' house in Virginia. After hitting the road from Virginia, I hit some dense interstate road where I was traveling in inner-city interstate roads. I was in the left lane with a semi in the right lane right by me, and a 5-gallon paint bucket lid was rolling vertically at my car. The semi on the right did not let me over, so the only thing I could do was yell some swears and hit the lid straight on with my little Toyota Yaris. After that little incident, I was stressed about the drive, though it's not like I haven't done it 8 or 9 times by that point. I also had my small hound dog with me, Lucy. We kept on driving, and when we reached the Georgia line, I stopped and got some gas, letting Lucy out to do some business. When we got back on the interstate, maybe 20 miles afterwards, I noticed someone was following us.
John Santa Monica
They
Pier,
drove in a white
Venice
van
Beach.
with a handmade barricade from the driver and passenger seat to the back of the van. The windows were painted white in the back, so you couldn't see what was inside in the back. There was an old man driving the thing with a permanent scowl on his face, and he wore those old 1970s Chester molester glasses on his face.
Did you hear he said that?
He was so close to my car on the interstate at times, I couldn't even see his headlights.
Yeah, welcome to Santa Monica Pier.
He stayed so close to my vehicle the entire time. I tried to speed up. I drove along the Georgia interstate, going 100 miles per hour to try to evade this guy. I was weaving through traffic, and no matter what I did, he stayed right by me with his face scowling and serious. For some reason, he just had to stay as close to me as possible. Now, Lucy was not an intimidating dog whatsoever, being a 30-pound dwarf tree-walking hound
Haunted
lab
Highway.
mix.
Ghosts
So
on the
I don't
radio.
think her presence was having much effect on this guy. I've never been so terrified while driving, and I was looking for any cops on the road to pull over to and to explain my story to. But there were no cops, and this madman stayed on my tail the entire time. That's when I decided, because I just gassed up my car, that I would simply outrun him. He would have to get gas way before I did. It was 182 miles of him following me, tailing me, so I couldn't see his headlights, or being just at the side of my car. From the state of Georgia to well past the Florida-Georgia line, he followed me. 182 miles total, and finally he was running out of gas. I'm so thankful my little car and 1 tank of gas got me 350 miles. I
We
could
need to
not
put
have
blood
imagined what would
splatters
have
on the truck on
happened
the
if I
front.
had to stop for gas first.
Skulls
I
hanging
wonder
from the
what he
front.
was trying to hide. I wonder what he saw that made him harass me. I-95 can be scary. I've done this trip many times,
I know,
and I've never,
I-95 goes
until
up and
now,
down the East
had
Coast.
anything like that happen to me. Now I pack my spring-filled Hellcat whenever I drive. The gut-wrenching feeling I had with that old man and his homemade rigged-up van driving behind me for so long was too much. I hope no one else has to deal with that sense of dread driving on the road. And if you do, I hope you're armed. I hope your dog is more intimidating, and I hope your car can outrun them. Hangman's Bridge, from Lacey. There is a bridge in Missouri close to Kansas City, which we call Hangman's Bridge. A few of my friends and I went there one night a year ago. I'd seen it once or twice in the daytime, and I always got chills from it then. But that night, my friends and I were looking for
Ghosts on the radio.
to take photos
Haunted
of.
Highway.
Well, when driving up
Welcome.
to it, you pass under
So
a
if you
train
see that in
bridge
my
first,
title, if it says
and when
Haunted
we
Highway or
passed
Ghosts
through
on the
there,
Radio, that's
we
what we're
thought
doing.
We saw someone.
Welcome.
But when we looked around, there was no one there. We just
I love
passed
it.
this off as a figment
I've
of
been
our
listening to Haunted
imaginations.
Tales for a couple of weeks.
Maybe we were looking for
Driving
things.
around listening to spooky
I mean,
stories.
we were hoping to see some ghosts and whatnot.
Love the radio.
About 3 minutes later, we pull up to the Hangman's Bridge and we get out.
Hangman's Bridge.
We started to walk around. As we got under the bridge, I felt like someone was watching me, and
Yeah.
so did my friends. They were taking photos.
I put all
and
these
I just
together.
kept getting this feeling that I
I
needed
put all
to
these
look
selections
up.
in there.
So I did, but I didn't
I
see
added all that. I
anything
put
out
it all
of the
together
ordinary.
so we can enjoy it.
I
Welcome.
shrugged this off as my imagination again, until out of nowhere, a rock was thrown at me from underneath the bridge. One thing to note is that
Different
there are
stories
metal
I've
bars under the
collected.
bridge that are super thin. There's no way anyone could be up there, and there was no car driving on the bridge. After the first rock was thrown, a few more flew in, hitting me in the leg. I looked over at my friends. They were also being peppered by rocks. We quickly ran back to the van and got inside. We
tough
made
to
a
do when we
U-turn on the
drive.
road, so we would have to drive under it. As we drove under the bridge,
We'll have to listen
I
to
kid
that
you
again. It
not,
was pretty
the
good.
van just died, and it wouldn't start. At this point, we were freaking out and terrified. We started to hear these thumping sounds, and we saw rocks being thrown at the van. But we couldn't find who was doing it. We didn't see anyone outside. Just then, it felt as if someone was shaking the van, and we started to tremble ourselves. This went on for about 10 minutes.
A lot of these are real
Then
radio
finally,
stations.
we were
This is
able
my
to start
own,
the
what
van,
we're listening
and we
to.
drove away as fast as possible, no doubt breaking the speed limit. We drove back out to my place and just sat outside for a while, too freaked out to move. A few days later, I looked up Hangman's Bridge, and I found out that it was used back
Yeah.
in the 1800s as a dumping
From my own
ground for
collection, my
bodies.
own archives.
Now, I knew about the name. but
Whenever,
not the story.
usually when we're listening to
And
music
apparently
and stuff
there was a
on any
man
of my
hung
games
there,
on my
but I
stream,
couldn't find the
it's
reason
stuff that
why.
I mix and I put together.
Apparently, the noose hung there for a very long time.
Like I don't use Spotify and
And
stuff.
apparently, some very foolish
Yeah,
person
so I take
cut
my
it down
own
as a
time
souvenir
to
and took it
edit
home.
music every day.
I wonder how haunted that
So when I
noose
come on
might
stream,
be.
it's something that I
This was one of the
specifically want
craziest
to
things
present
that
to you. There's no
happened to me,
surprises.
and one
I know
of
what you're
many
going to get. I
stories
know
I
what
had
you're
to
going to
tell.
hear.
If you're ever in Kansas City,
Yep, that's easier
and
for me to
someone
get you
asks
into
if
my
you want
cult.
to visit Hangman's Bridge, I'd say at least don't do it at night. They saw something
Hey,
in the tree.
what is the difference between Euro
From
Truck Sim and
TJ
Euro
Sounds.
Truck Sim 2?
When my dad was about 17 years old, and his friend was looking through a scope out of his window, he turned the scope towards an old oak tree. And bizarrely enough, he saw two ladies in
Welcome
the
to
tree.
the beach. Welcome to LA.
He said one was an old witchy-looking woman, and the other was a beautiful young woman who looked more like a princess.
Sell some weed down here.
And the tree itself was full of snakes, spiders, and
Never.
scorpions. They ran over to the tree to try to talk to these ladies. The younger lady just looked down at my dad and his friend like she wanted to talk to them, but couldn't. After trying to get their attention, they eventually gave up and went inside. They went to sleep, and the next morning they woke up and looked out the window again. They saw this giant spider jump out of the tree. Once again they left, going towards the tree, this time on a mission to see this spider to see if they could kill it. They even grabbed some weapons. My dad grabbed a 12 gauge, and his friend grabbed a shovel. They ran over to the neighbor's yard to go kill it.
Shady Acres.
As soon as they got there, the spider stopped moving, and before their eyes, it turned into a rock with legs that were now sticks. The neighbor ran out and said to get out of his yard. My dad told me and my sister about it, and we wanted to go drive by and see if the tree was still there. After a trip to the Oregon coast, we finally got the chance to go to Estacada, Oregon. We drove by the house again. As we were looking towards the tree, we saw that the tree was gone. There wasn't even any stump or dirt spots where it used to be.
Gracias.
After that, for some time, I felt as if I was being watched. It's a crazy story, but my dad swears this to be true.
Yeah, if I could buy this again, I would get it on Good Old Games rather than Steam. Anything that
in a small black notebook.
I can get on Good Old Games, I get on Good Old
She had
Games.
adopted the trail name
I don't like to
Intro.
have to be attached
But
to
for a slow
any
walker,
Steam
she
or
had still
anything in order
managed
to
to
play
cover
my
an
shit. I
immense
don't like having a
distance,
middleman.
hiking almost 1,000
So I don't
miles
blame
from
you
Harper's Ferry in
for
West
getting
Virginia
something
with a
that's
close
where you
friend
got
of
it.
hers named Jane Lee. George Largay, Geraldine's
Because I'd
husband
rather
of
use
42
something that's
years, was
DRM
driving
free.
ahead of them, arranging care packages and supply
And then they
pickups for them,
did get it on
occasionally
GOG.
ferrying them to motels
Without
for the relief
Steam.
of a hot shower
Rather
or a
have
night in
without
a
Steam.
soft bed. But on June 30th, as Jane and Geraldine reached New Hampshire, Jane was forced into an early end for an adventure due to a family emergency. But Geraldine insisted on continuing the hike. The trail was
Welcome
almost
to
at an
SoCal.
end, and she would not give
Welcome
up
to
so
Southern
easily.
California.
Jane would later say that Geraldine had a poor sense of direction, had taken a wrong turn on the trail more than once, and would become flustered whenever she made such mistakes. Then, while she was all alone, Geraldine ended up taking another wrong turn up in Maine, wandering into terrain so wild that it was used by the state's National Guard for military training. She kept writing after she lost her way. Even as her food supply dwindled along with her hopes of being found, she ended up waiting nearly a month in the Maine woods for help that would never come. Geraldine had left the trail in one of its most rugged sections, with thick underbrush and fir trees packed so tightly that the landscape became a maze of greenery.
I'll never be here
You step
again.
off the trail a little, then
I
turn
haven't
around.
been- I
and
haven't been
it's
here
very
in
difficult to
30
see where the path
years,
is,
probably.
reported a volunteer who spends time doing trail maintenance in the area.
Until now,
If you didn't know
with
which
American
way the trail
Truck
was,
Sim.
you could easily walk in circles for hours. Knowing she was hopelessly lost, Geraldine sought high ground in the hopes of getting a signal on her cell phone. Lost since yesterday, she texted her husband. Off trail 3 or 4 miles. Call police for what to do, please. She tried over and over to send messages, but none went through. In some trouble, another text George read. Got off trail to go to the bathroom, now lost. She asked him to call the Appalachian Mountain Club to see if a trail maintainer could help her, but again, the message was never received. Around July 23rd, she set up her tent atop sticks and pine needles under a canopy of hemlock trees so thick that they obscured her from rescuers searching from the air. She tied a shiny
should've kept
silver
moving.
blanket between 2 trees, possibly to attract attention, but the foliage was
In one
simply too
direction.
dense for the blanket to be seen from the air. Geraldine was scheduled to meet her husband on July 23rd in Wyman Township, but she never showed. The following day, George reported her missing. Multiple agencies and volunteers would take part in the search for her, using horses and helicopters to traverse the tough terrain. Agonizingly, it would turn out that Geraldine was less than a mile from the trail itself, close enough that, in all likelihood, searchers had probably passed by her campsite without actually realizing it. Infuriatingly, the rescuers were bombarded with a number of false tips regarding the missing woman's whereabouts. Some purported that she had been murdered and strung up in the trees, saying that they'd seen her with sketchy-looking men who might have intended her harm, with others suggesting that she had fallen in a river and drowned. A number of psychics called to report visions of her, including one who incorrectly insisted that she had broken her ankle. Other psychics injected that they were contending that Geraldine had been spotted at a woman's shelter in Tennessee. This actually diverted valuable resources away from the search with accusations that her husband was a batterer, when in reality he had never laid a finger on her for the entirety of their marriage. Her last entry reflected a strikingly graceful acceptance of what was coming. "When you find my body, please call my husband George and my daughter Carrie," she wrote. "It will be the greatest kindness for them to know that I am dead and where you found me, no matter how many years from now." It would be 2 years before a logging company's surveyor stumbled upon her campsite and remains, solving a mystery that had tormented her family and defied teams of experienced searchers. Miss
barbecue grill and a couple of beers.
Tennessee had survived a month on her own, longer than many old backwoods hands thought possible, before dying of exposure and starvation. Her dead body was found on October 14th, 2015, still inside her sleeping bag, in a campsite that she had kept tidy until the day she passed away. Around her lay her final belongings, including a blue and white bandana, a rosary, birthday candles, lighters, dental floss, a sewing kit, and 2 water bottles, one still containing water. 2 weeks after she was found, Geraldine's family visited the area in which she tragically lost her life. They left a white wooden cross, decorated with messages etched in black marker, one written in a child's handwriting saying, "I wish you were here." It is quite simply terror-inducing that even in a country as populated and settled as the United States, a person can still go missing on a simple mountain trail and vanish almost without a trace, only to be found months later having starved to death in a country where there is such abundance of sustenance and civilization. Humankind has tamed more and more of America since the nation's founding, but it seems that some particular areas of the country will always be wild. Hi everyone, my name is Lena. I'm Malay and I spent the summer in the United States as part of a summer school program at Virginia Tech University.
Me too.
There were lots of extracurricular activities too. I mean, what else were we going to do with our spare time? So
study dirt.
I got to know a lot of my classmates rather well while doing all sorts of cool things with them. One of the most amazing things I got to do while I was there was going to hiking up on the Appalachian Mountains. I managed to get some pictures of the most stunning views I'd ever seen in my life, and walking those hills will remain one of the most memorable times of my entire life. But I'll never forget my time in the Appalachians for another reason, too, because it included one of the most hair-raisingly terrifying experiences of my life. One which left me shaking for the amount of adrenaline running through me. So at one point, we're taking a break from hiking, eating some snack and taking some sips from bottles of water that didn't manage to stay very cold for very long. I'm chatting with my best friends on the trip, Sol and Gabby, when we hear some rustling in the foliage next to us. The next thing I hear is our guide whispering, "Don't move. No one move a muscle." They'd be confident to the point of cockiness on the trail up until that point, a real outdoorsy manly man type. But hearing the fear in their voice made my blood turn to ice, which was no small feat on such a hot day. I did as I was told. I didn't move. I just sort of shifted my eyes in the direction of the rustling, and when I saw what came out of the bushes, I couldn't even scream, I was so scared. It was like I'd been turned into a stone statue, albeit one that trembled uncontrollably with fear. It was a bear. A black bear, and it was walking right towards me. I suppose I'd been attracted to the smell of our snacks. From what I understand, black bears don't have the best eyesight, but they do have an incredible sense of smell. And even though we weren't cooking any food, it must have been close enough in the area to be able to pick up on the scent. I stayed as still as I could as it walked up to me, but when it stood up on its hind legs, I swear my heart nearly stopped beating altogether. I had no idea they could do that. Like, I kinda knew black bears were smaller than grizzlies or polar bears, and that they were considerably less aggressive too, but oh my god, that thing wasn't small when it stood up like that. I swear it was almost 6 feet tall. I was trembling and holding back whimpers of fear as it started to sniff at my hijab, knowing that if I made one wrong move, if I didn't keep my cool and stay perfectly still, it may just maul me to death right there and then. It was probably the most terrifying moment of my life so far. It sort of lost interest in me after a few moments, moving onto my friend's soul, who just dropped the sandwich he was eating immediately. The bear sniffed at it, but ignored it, then did the same thing to her, standing on its hind legs and sniffing at her face and neck. And suddenly, like out of nowhere, it just lost interest in us and wandered off into the woods again. We all breathed a heavy sigh of relief as it left us, thanking God that it wasn't hungry or ballsy enough to have attacked us. Never in all my years have I had such an up-close and personal encounter with such a powerful and wild beast. It left an indelible mark.
Don't go camping when bears are coming out of hibernation.
I found respect for nature even more so than I had beforehand. I'm just so thankful that it wasn't a grizzly or something out in the Pacific Northwest, because if it was, I probably wouldn't be here to tell this story.
If it was a black bear in Pennsylvania, it was twice as big as the black bear that he saw in Virginia.
When I was a kid growing up in North Carolina, I was a member of the Boy Scouts of America. I know it might seem corny, but my time in the Boy Scouts honestly made for some of the fondest memories of my childhood. And as much as my friends these days like to make jokes about the deviant proclivities of my former scoutmasters, nothing remotely weird or unsavory ever happened with any of them. There was a lot of fishing, camping, fieldcraft, and community service. Just some good old-fashioned wholesomeness that gave my parents a break from me from time to time. Well, all except for this one time. So one summer, my scout troop goes on this big camping trip up into the Smokies. For those unfamiliar with the term, the Smokies, or Great Smoky Mountains, are a part of the Greater Appalachian Mountains, and are also home to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, one of the most highly visited national parks in the country. The name Smokies comes from the natural fog that often hangs over the mountaintops, appearing as large smoke plumes from a distance and originate from organic compounds
Misty Mountains
that are exhaled by the local vegetation. But excuse the high school science lesson, I'll get on with it. So we're up in the Smokies having a good old time when one night, while sitting around the campfire after dinner, one of our scoutmasters decides to tell us a creepy campfire tale. He starts telling us the story of Utlunta, which is the Cherokee name meaning spear finger, or one with a pointed spear. Spear fingers supposedly live in the western part of North Carolina, right up in the Smoky Mountains where we were camped at the time, and her name referred to the long, slender, sharp finger on her right hand which she used to slice up her child victims, whose livers she ate raw. As legend has it, she apparently clutched the stony skin on her right hand tightly because her heart was actually hidden in her palm there. Our scoutmaster goes on to tell us how, because Spearfinger's skin was made of stone, she was invulnerable to the arrows of the Cherokee, and her footsteps sounded like thunder as she walked along the mountainside. Whenever her deep voice rumbled around the hillsides, it would scare all of the birds away, a warning sign to those she was hunting as she sang her favorite song, Uwe la, Tutsiku, or Liver I Eat. Spearfinger was also said to be able to take on the appearance of her child victims' family members, often taking the form of a kindly old woman to trick her victims into feeling safe around her. She would then lull the child to sleep, running her fingers through their hair to calm them before stabbing her pointed finger through the back of the neck or through the heart. She would then rip out the livers of her victims before feasting on them, leaving her mouth ringed with fresh blood. Needless to say, By the time our scoutmaster had finished telling us the story, we are all completely and utterly terrified, and only managed to stop freaking out once he gotten out his old guitar and sang us a few
Penguin, thank
songs.
you.
But that night,
I just
while
saw your
back
message.
in my tent with a buddy of mine, I
Gracias.
found myself totally unable to sleep.
Thank you, thank you.
I kept imagining that
Nice
if I
to see
did,
you.
Spearfinger would come, rip my tent open, and stab me in the heart with her long, sharp, stony finger, all before tearing out my liver and eating it. Then, right as I was about to drift off to sleep, a bright light lit up one side of our tent. I was completely frozen in fear for a moment, whispering for my sleeping buddy to wake up, and I was totally unable to rouse him. I carried on staring at the side of the tent, wondering where the bright light was coming from, as it seemed way too intense to be from someone's torch.
Thanks, Penguin. What I missed.
Somewhere, lost in the clouded annals of history, lies a place called the Unknown.
Thank you very much.
Forgotten stories are revealed to those who travel through the wood.
What if one of you is the monster?
Gracias, muchacho. Hope you had a great day.
He feeds those pigs.
And thanks for the games the other
And
night
then he eats the pigs.
on your channel. Good to see you, Penguin. Yeah. Thanks for the good company on your channel the other night. Maybe it was yesterday or the day before. I've been sick with COVID since Saturday, but I'm doing better. Yeah. Thank you for the birthday wishes.
He's dashing. He's dreamy. He's delightfully
Hopefully we have some new stories to listen to coming up.
He's the star of Demented Death Farm Massacre.
Demented Death Farm Massacre. Yeah, I was in bed a lot. I mean, symptoms, narcolepsy and all that, but yeah, I was, apologies.
Somewhere,
It's,
lost in the clouded annals of history, lies a place called
it hit me within 5 minutes.
where long forgotten
Within 5 minutes, it was as if I drank napalm. It literally was so weird, it was so fast, and it like hit my throat, it just hit my chest, like, and I was shaking, shivering, too hot, and I was in bed for a couple days. But I got up, did a little bit of streaming, but you know, I'm up more doing things, being productive, getting my dishes done, litter box clean, all that good stuff. So yeah, I think I'll be fine. Saturday and Sunday was a blur. So, right on. See what we have in store. Gracias. Spooky.
Help me!
I scared myself.
I scared myself. And then, I just about let out a whimper of fear when I heard a hissing sound and saw a shadow passing over the
Love
fat
Vincent.
tent. I called out to them, asking who was there, but no one said a thing in response. And there was just another faint hissing sound as the figure seemed to creep closer
I
and
love
closer
Vincent.
to our tent.
Look what they did for
Then I saw
Halloween.
the figure raise a
Truck
hand
sim.
and almost
They
choke
did
in
this whole
terror
scene.
when I saw a
It just got
single
updated
long
today
pointed
for
finger
Halloween.
in a hissing voice whisper.
Nice surprise.
I screamed, ripping my way through the front flap of my tent and tearing it around the campsite, screaming, "It's Spearfinger, she's come to eat my
Love
liver.
Vincent Price, man, he's the
Please, God,
best."
don't let her eat my liver."
I'm 55.
I expected the rest
I
of the
remember
camp to start
Goth told
screaming
me.
too, to burst out of the tents in terror, to maybe just stay inside them in the hopes that Spearfinger might pass over them. And don't get me wrong, there were a couple of other cries of fear that accompanied my own. But the sound that made me slow to a stop and peer around in confusion was the sound of laughter. When I looked, I saw another one of the scouts, this kid named Devin, and he was just about bent over in hysterics with a long, slender twig tied to one finger. I must have been boiling with rage at that point, but Devin just thought that was extra funny, waving the long wooden twig at me and making that same
That's something I would do
again before bursting into laughter. I swear that was probably the most scared and embarrassed I ever was during my entire childhood, and all because that little idiot Devin decided to pull a prank on me. Ever since then,
we all did it.
I've never been able to hear the words Smoky Mountains without remembering that Boy Scout camping trip, even if it does make me kind of smile these days. But what doesn't make me smile is seeing liver in the deli section of a grocery store, because all I think about sometimes is the idea of Spearfinger hushing a child to sleep, stroking their hair, singing them a little lullaby with the voice of their grandma or favorite aunt.
I can't remember the names exactly, but you're probably right. This is 3 or 4 different podcasts.
With their stony-skinned lips.
So yes, probably.
With dark, fresh blood.
I put a whole bunch, this is all compilations of different stories and podcasts, ones that I liked that were specific to driving or hiking.
I got a text from my little sister that went something like this. Hey bro, I'm gonna drive
Birds
up
of a
to
feather
Granddad's
flock
for
together.
a few hours to check in on him. I think he's been pretty lonely because of this whole lockdown thing, and I think we should pay him a visit.
I think this
know
is,
what you're thinking,
I haven't had
don't
COVID
worry.
before.
He has
It's
that
dangerous
glad
for me
porch
to have
built,
COVID.
so we can
But
sit
I'm
in his
doing-
front
I'm
garden
pretty-
while he
I'm
sits
doing pretty
inside,
good.
and we can have a little chat.
Love this.
I'll bring a flash of coffee and some cake for lunch.
I love what they did.
Are you up for joining me?
This is so cool.
I was snowed under with work, and it had bled into my weekend, so despite the fact that I
It's a nice
should have
birthday
just stayed
present.
home, I knew I needed to get out of my apartment for a while.
Pretty bitchin'.
So I agreed to join her.
Yeah.
It was unusually
Probably
nice weather
both.
out, even
Yeah.
for a British summer, so I
It'll
thought,
change. You'll
why
notice the
not?
difference because I put a whole bunch of cool stuff
I hadn't
that I
seen my
got.
granddad in like 2 or 3 months at that point, so I really missed him. And as long as we kept from getting too close to him physically,
I like getting
didn't see the
scared,
harm in
man,
paying
but
him a visit.
I don't really care
So my sister
to
arrives in her beat-up old Volkswagen Golf at around
experience
noon. We
spirits
start
and
to drive out
shit.
to our
It is
granddad's.
scary.
We're having our own little catch-up.
Which shit's happening
Talks
right next to
range
you,
from
and
the stuff surrounding the virus
nothing
to
there. It's-
YouTube channels we've been binging.
The hair
since
goes up
we've
on
been
your
cooped
arms.
Up at home.
Mine does.
I recommend
yeah.
Let's Read to her. Whoop whoop. All is going
Let's
well,
read.
and I'm using my phone
Right on.
app to help her
You're the
navigate.
man.
So I've got my eyes
Because
glued
I
to my
couldn't
phone
remember.
screen, whereas she's obviously watching the road. She's a very chatty person, so I did think it was unusual when
I'm
she
going to
stopped
be sharing
talking
mine on
altogether
Halloween
for a few minutes.
with
Nothing
photos
to worry about too much.
of me in the photos
I
at
just
the
figured she
places
was
I'm talking
concentrating.
about.
I only
Yeah.
realized something was
I got some
actually
stories to
wrong
share
when
with you
she
guys.
said something like,
Scary shit.
"What's wrong with that car?"
Totally unexplainable.
I look up and ask which one she was talking about.
Request of a YouTube
But as I
subscriber.
looked, it was obvious which
So
one she was
Halloween, I'll be
talking
doing
about.
a stream and sharing
We
photos
stopped at some traffic
and telling
lights
you
as
guys
this
where I was
happening,
and what happened.
At the head of one of the lines of cars, I see
Sunday.
this gray Vauxhall Estate. Its entire back window is
I think
blocked from all
Sunday.
kinds of stuff filling the boot, which is dangerous enough on its own. But it's also sat there stationary
High
doing
five,
that
Penguin.
peek and
It's good
creep
to see
thing
ya.
you can make a car do from just gently pressing on the clutch. At first, I just thought it was kind of funny that it seemed to me like they were just trying to make their boring old dad car
Tucker
bounce like some
sleeping
kind
in
of
the
Compton
big bed.
lowrider, and made a comment to my sister about why this is why dads should put away their Dr. Dre 2001 records after they turn 40.
Bullshit.
So the light turns green and we start moving again. But the gray Vauxhall at the head of
Fine.
the line next to us just sits there, not moving. So this actually gives me a chance to get a look into the car's front seats.
We're
and
just going
catch
for a
glimpse of
drive.
the driver. I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe some white dude in wraparound shades lip-syncing to Explosive or something relatively humorous like that, but what I actually saw was anything but amusing. This dude had shades on alright, but the way he was just
Creepy guy.
slumping in the driver's seat, head slopping off to one side, it was obvious that he was drunk. And
Whole
not
truckload of
just-
Burger
not
Kings,
just
a
had
whole
few
truckload
too
of
many in the
Whoppers.
pub drunk.
I'd be in the
This fella
hospital
was
in a week.
absolutely bladdered, like so drunk he looked barely conscious. We hear a few beeping horns as the people behind him are evidently
I've had
annoyed
plenty.
that
I've
he's
had
just
more than I
sat
thought
there
I
not
did.
paying attention to the lights, and I honestly thought that
Someone asked me to do
since
a
we'd gotten past
video.
him, that'd be the end of it.
So let's do it.
But nope.
Want you guys there to ask me
massively
questions.
aggressive revving engine noise as the dude zooms past us again.
I'll share all my
Before he just
experiences
switches
that I can
lanes
think
so
of
that he's
for the
right
first
in front
time.
of us.
One
Then
sitting.
he slows down, right down, so that I had to tell my sister to slow down too, so we could
Never
maintain
realized I
safe
had so
distance
many, but
between
it's
us.
always revolving
He then
around
starts
reenacting
swerving from side to side
historical
ahead of us
properties,
as we
doing
pass
living
onto a smaller
history.
road.
Battlefields
So badly that
is where I've
cars
had all
going
my
the other
weird
way are
experiences,
swerving and
really.
beeping their horns at him for fear of him slamming into them. I know this isn't the scariest idea ever. He wasn't a bloody vampire or a skinwalker or whatever else seems to dominate all those creepypasta forums.
Yeah, I mean,
cannot
battlefields,
overstate how unnerving it
Monocacy,
is to see
Cedar
such a
Creek,
dangerous driver on
especially
roads,
Kernstown.
right in
I have a
front of you.
lot of stories from
It
the
was how
first Battle of
unpredictable he was
Kernstown,
acting,
second
too.
Battle of Kernstown
My heart was
reenactments.
pounding.
Those are the
Considering that he could
most
just swerve
craziest
into oncoming
stories are from
traffic
Kernstown
or slam on
Battlefield.
his brakes at any moment.
I've got stories
And it might
with,
be way too
I'll
late
share with
for
you
us to
guys
stop
from my friends who
ourselves
are
and turn.
paranormal investigators. They have all the
We
equipment.
made sure to keep a safe
and they're also
distance as the road
reenactors
opened
with
up in front of
pictures.
us
I'll show
again,
you.
into a
I'll share with
full-on
you.
dual carriageway.
Craziest
But he
shit down
switches
there
lanes yet
in
again,
Virginia.
Again risking causing a
Cedar
bloody
Creek,
accident, but
Monocacy,
again making it so that he's on our right-hand
crazy.
side as we come up to a
Petersburg.
set of traffic lights. Don't look at him.
All my
Just be cool.
experiences have all
Don't
been
look into his car.
revolving around
I tell
doing
my
living
sister,
history.
who is like doubly
Yeah.
nervous as me because
Real old
she's
historical
actually the one at
properties,
the wheel.
battlefields.
It's her car we're driving.
South Mountain,
But here's the thing. My sister
Antietam,
is blonde,
Sharpsburg.
and she gets quite a lot of attention
Antietam,
from
Sharpsburg,
boys,
man.
Something
Yeah.
that has always been stressful for me. Those of you with younger siblings
Gettysburg
will
ghost stories for
probably
sure.
understand exactly what I'm talking about. You just feel super protective of them.
One thing that
So
dawned
when I heard
upon
that
me
doon 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 sound and
is
looked to
even
see
though
the dirty drunk driver
I've been a
banging on his
practicing
passenger
pagan for
window,
many, many years,
I knew what was about
is
to
that
happen. I instinctively
why
turned
is
up our
it that
car's
when,
radio
say, there's a
and again
demonic
reiterated
possession
for her not to look at the car at
or
all.
evil spirits,
And she was
that
well-practiced at ignoring
Christianity
thirsty
is
guys,
a
so
tool that
wasn't
works?
really an issue. But there was a new concern now.
What does that prove the
He was going to
existence of?
follow us.
The thought I
And
pondered
follow us he
recently.
did. As the lights turn green, the drunk driver keeps level with us as
Does
we
that
all
prove
start
Jesus
moving.
and God are real?
He winds down his passenger
I know they're
window
real.
and starts shouting over the
I
din of
worship
the
different
engines and
gods,
traffic,
but it's
thank
that
God for the car
Christianity
radio. We could only
is always
faintly
using
hear him.
exorcisms, and that's
My
what
sister
works.
was
That's what
keeping her eyes on the
combats
road,
that
and
evil.
I'm
It's
staring the
interesting, the
guy out at
universe
this
that we live
point.
in.
Like I'm scared, but I'm only just really bloody angry now.
Smoke
He's
another
shouting
ball.
at her, making disgusting gestures with his fingers and tongue. I was ashamed that another grown man could ever
Yeah,
act like that.
I hate guys like that.
He's not
I'm in
paying
their
attention
face.
to the road, and he's not
But
paying
that guy
attention
did
to
that
his own
shit.
driving either. So I watch in absolute horror as
Chauvinist
he starts
a-holes.
drifting over to us slowly but surely. His passenger door is getting closer and closer to my sister's side of the car as he
Right
notices
on.
me staring. And
I did not know
switches
that.
his
Thank you for
attention
sharing.
Towards me, instantly becoming extremely aggressive.
I
as
have
the
my own
expression
methods
behind
too,
his
like I was talking
sunglasses
about the
changes
knee-dong that I
radically.
use. I have a troll
I
head
could hear him clearly over the car radio
and a death
now,
fence. Keep
screaming
evil
through his
spirits out of
passenger
here.
window, stuff
Demons
like,
and shit.
"What are you looking at?" Along with other stuff I don't think would be
And
appropriate
it's-
to write out for
I
polite
don't know.
company.
It's a little different, I guess.
start warning my sister
The
to edge off to
Americana,
the side of the road, which she does.
and old
And we're
Norse
moving
culture,
off the dual carriageway into a small road
like,
this time. So
Paul
she ends
Bunyan
up
and Babe
slowing
the
down
Ox,
and stopping behind the van of a dude who
folklore
was
and
working on
legend,
an electrical box just
where
a few meters
I
away.
think that a lot of people like me
The
don't
drunk
take
driver
it.
follows us,
Take
though,
it seriously in a
and
different
actually has
fashion.
to swerve
It's
hard
beautiful
to avoid
scenery.
smashing into the parked van, which causes
I did
yet
not know
more
that about
beeping from
Muslim
the
faith.
cars
Thank you
behind
for
the
sharing,
drunk driver as he's
Penguin.
pretty much forced to carry on off down the road.
And I'm sorry I'm talking so
thanking
much
God
and
out
ruining
loud
the
that
story.
We've lost the dude at this point, and I turned towards my little sister to see if she's okay, and she just burst into tears, leaning her head onto the steering wheel and sobbing. I can't even blame her.
Welcome
She
to
finds
California.
driving stressful at the best of times, let alone when some drunk,
Headed
dangerously
north,
driving pervert is
along the
giving her all
ocean.
kinds of unwanted attention. She was crying so loud that the electrician fella who was working away, whose attention was drawn away anyway because the drunk driver that nearly just smashed into his car, earning himself a torrent of beeps, ended up coming over to ask if she was okay. I was giving my sister little pats in the back as I wound down my window and explained what the guy was up to, and how he'd almost just caused a serious accident through being a drunk and a perv. And when the electrician asked if I made a
Don't
note
drive
of the
drunk.
guy's number
It's not
plate,
worth it.
I was just kicking myself. I had been so intensely scared of what might happen that it didn't even occur to me to make a record of the guy's number plate. I felt like a moron. but I was somewhat consoled by the idea that someone else might have had the presence of mind to do what I'd neglected to, and I sincerely hope someone did. That fella shouldn't have been on the roads at all, and I really hope he didn't cause an accident further down the road.
Pardon me.
We ended up being late to our granddad's, but he didn't mind at all once we explained why we were so late, and he was just as outraged as we were that such a thing could even occur in the first place. Well, that's my story. I know it wasn't nearly as scary as some of the others that get posted here. What with all the stalkers or catfish
right on,
psychos
man,
that
enjoy.
you have the misfortune to run into. But I literally can't remember a time when something has had me literally shaking with adrenaline like that did.
And thank you for the
We all
birthday
tend
wishes,
to feel
Penguin.
safe while on the roads, to the point where some people find driving to actually be kind of a boring experience, but it only takes something like that drunk driver to remind us all how
Driving is an awesome experience. I haven't driven a car in, I think, 5 years. Games like American Truck Sim, shit, I can go anywhere. Little imagination, little GPU, rock and roll.
18th birthday. Both my father and grandfather had the honor of embarking on a military career, and had both seen combat in the Gulf and Vietnam, respectively. Unlike my dad, whose war had lasted little more than 100 hours, my grandfather had done 2 tours of Vietnam with the 101st Airborne, and had actually lost his left hand during the battle in the Ah Chau Valley in 1969. Because of this, he insisted that I do everything in my power to avoid direct combat duty. He told me the stress would almost kill him when my dad went off into the desert to fight the army of Saddam Hussein. He couldn't face losing his son, and he wouldn't have that same stress on his mind if his grandson went off into combat duty either. So, I ended up as an 88M, a motor transport operator. Motor transport operators are mainly responsible for overseeing or driving vehicles to transport either personnel or vital supplies. We are the backbone of the U.S. Army's sustainment and support structure, providing essential, advanced mobility both on and off the battlefield. I was sure to avoid direct combat duty in this role, but that didn't mean I would be exempt from a deployment to one of the U.S. Army's most dangerous and intense areas of operation since the Vietnam War, Afghanistan. My family and I had one last meal at my grandfather's place before I deployed, and if I'm honest, it was very emotional. My dad was proud. My mom was a nervous wreck who was only kept together by the fact that she had so much food to prepare, but it was my grandfather's little talk that he gave me that really had me falling to pieces. Like my dad, he was proud of me for serving his country, but he told me some of the things that he had seen during his time in Vietnam, things that clearly haunted him for a long, long time after he rotated back stateside. He told me that there were no heroes in war, not in the sense that the movies try to make it out. He told me ideas that get men killed in dumb, needless ways, and a lot of the kids he'd seen take a bullet in the Ah Chau Valley had sadly mistaken bravery for stupidity. Basically, he told me that there were only 2 things I should focus on: doing my job and getting home. He told me I would be a hero to the infantry guys who needed the bullets, the bandages, and the beans, and I had absolutely nobody to prove myself to. That the highest reward wasn't medals or glory or killing America's enemies. It was about being able to go home to your family, something that so many of his Vietnam buddies hadn't been able to do. My story takes place during the 3rd month of my year-long deployment to Nangarhar Province, Afghanistan. I was assigned to Troop D, 1st Squadron, 61st Cavalry Regiment, as I had been driving army trucks for about 3 years by that time, and was actually one of the more experienced guys. Troop D was tasked with running combat logistical patrols between FOBs Connolly and Fenty, which was about an hour away near the city of Jalalabad. And although the drive between the bases only lasted a couple of hours, depending on the size of the load we were toting, the preparation time for the convoys made for very long days. We'd had a few close calls as far as attacks on our convoys went. We'd come under sniper attack at one point. There, the bulletproof windows of my 20-ton load handler got cracked from where the sniper's bullets slammed into it. That was a pretty intense day. If it would have penetrated, it'd have hit my vehicle commander right in the face or neck, and that would have definitely ruined both our days. We also had a couple of IED scares, but honestly, those were just more boring than anything else. The lead vehicle in the convoy would spot something suspicious at the side of the road, an unusual mound of earth or a burned-out car or something. Then we'd have to wait hours and hours on end waiting for EOD, the bomb disposal guys, to show up and declare it safe before we could continue. But without a shadow of doubt, the worst and most terrifying thing that happened during my entire tour happened on a supply run, one hot summer's day in May. The area we were rolling through was mostly farmland, with the odd small village interspersed throughout the arid rocky terrain. It wasn't unusual to see the farmers working their fields as we passed through, and some of them even gave us friendly waves, with their kids jumping up and down excitedly at the sight of such huge vehicles driving along the dusty dirt roads. Only this one day, we couldn't see a single person out in their fields, which is usually what we call an atmospheric indicator. This is when a certain detail in the environment lets us know that the chances of a firefight happening is higher than usual, and a lack of civilians in the area is one of those. However, in the distance, I see this one lone kid pushing a wheelbarrow through one of the fields. This then gets reported over the radio, and it pretty much sets our mind at ease because there's no way the Taliban were about to initiate an ambush with one of the farmer kids working away on his lonesome. After all, they relied on the approval and good faith of the locals for their insurgency, just as much as we did for our counterinsurgency.
I don't think we can go down there.
Our lead vehicle stops just short of the kid, who's trying his hardest to push his fully laden wheelbarrow up a little embankment that connected his farmer dad's, or uncle's, who am I to know, field to the road itself. We watched him, straining and pushing at his wheelbarrow, but kept on failing as it rolled back down the slope. There were a few moments where I thought it might topple over on top of him, and I'd have really hated to see that kid get hurt like that. I think it's why I was so relieved to hear one of our sergeants over the radio, telling us to stand by because he was going to jump out of his truck to help the kid get his barrow over the road. Like I said, we relied on the goodwill of locals for information and whatnot, so that kind of aid was very, very essential to our overall success in the area. Our sergeant approaches the kid, gives him a little wave and says his salams, and the kid smiles and returns the wave.
Let me go in there.
The sergeant then points at the wheelbarrow and mimes pushing it up the embankment. The kid looks like he's thinking for a moment, then gives him a nod. The sergeant gives him a thumbs up. The kid returns it, and everything is all right. The kid backs off the barrel, and the sergeant steps in, takes hold of the handles, and begins to push it up the embankment, but is clearly struggling. Not as much as the kid, but struggling nonetheless. Whatever was in there must have been really heavy and was covered by a large piece of tarp. Our sergeant let go of the handles of the wheelbarrow and leans over and lifts the tarp slightly. Then he starts to move back towards the convoy, hand on his radio set before his screams start to buzz over all of our radios. "Move back! Move the F back! IED! IED! I..." His last word was cut off by a huge explosion, one which kicked up a huge ball of dust which engulfed all of our vehicles and plunged my truck's cab into darkness. We call it a brownout when there's so much dust in the air that you can only see like 2 feet in front of you, sometimes not even that. In the immediate aftermath, a dozen voices started shouting on our radios, demanding to know what had happened and what we were supposed to do. Our lieutenant immediately called for comms discipline, silencing all the panicked voices before declaring that we'd been struck by a roadside bomb. I'm not sure any of us quite knew what had happened in the minutes that followed. Even our vehicle, who had one of the best views, just didn't quite want to believe what we'd seen. Our sergeant was KIA the moment the IED went off, which was concealed in the wheelbarrow the kid had been pushing. The kid had absolutely no idea what was in there either. He had no desire to run away before it went off. He wasn't in the least bit suspicious or contemptuous towards us as we approached. Rumors went around that ended up getting confirmed that the Taliban had paid the kid's family a few dollars to push the barrel towards us so they could detonate it when the kid got close. It's stuff like that which scared me the most during my tour. I met some Afghans when I was over there that were some of the kindest, most gentle souls I'd ever met. Every bit as peaceful and freedom-loving as the average rural American. But the people that fought us, the people that schemed to turn kids into human bombs, and then justified it to themselves like they were doing the right thing. That's what gave me sleepless nights over there, as well as sleepless nights after I got back to the States. The scariest thing to ever happen to me on a road trip or highway happened way back when I was a kid. My mom and dad had arranged a little weekend getaway for themselves, so they took us over to my aunt's place so we could hang out with our cousins and whatnot while they got themselves some well-deserved peace and quiet. We spent the first day just playing in a local park, throwing a football around, just doing the things that kids do, but the next day, my aunt and another aunt of mine decided to drive us somewhere for some activity I can't even remember now. I mean, this is so long ago that I can't even remember where we were driving or why. I remember being in the back seat, bored out of my skull, and just watching the road ahead of us through the gap in the sheets. What I find kind of weird is how some details in this incident are burned into my memory, while others completely escape me.
California Highway
I suppose
Patrol.
that's just how memory works sometimes. So excuse me if this account seems spotty, but I think you'll all get the gist of it. On the road ahead of us was a brick red pickup truck, its rear storage space crammed with building equipment. I distinctly remember a bunch of bricks and building sand, and balanced on top, secured by some rope or some other kinds of cordage, was a large rusted wheelbarrow. A sheet of blue plastic tarp was flapping violently in the wind, and as the truck drove on ahead of us, I remember seeing the whole load rumbling and shaking in a way that, in retrospect, should have made me feel distinctly uncomfortable. I remember my aunt commenting on it, how they were pretty worried about how poorly the truck's load was secured, but I didn't really think anything of it. When you're as young as I was, you just don't consider certain possibilities or dangers. So I had no idea what was about to happen, and when it did, the whole thing scared the life out of me in a way that I don't think I'd ever felt. I watched in absolute horror as the wheelbarrow came loose and fell off the back of the truck. It didn't happen in stages. It didn't slip and then fall, so that my aunt, who was driving, had time to swerve or back off or whatever. It just fell, suddenly and violently, right off the back of the pickup and into the road as the car I was in continued to speed towards it. My aunt screamed, one throwing her hands up to her face, as she obviously expected the thing to slam into the windshield of the car. We were on the highway at the time, driving at maybe 60 or 70 miles an hour, and at those speeds, there's no telling what kind of catastrophic damage it would have caused. But somehow the wheelbarrow hit the road and actually
Hello out there in
bounced.
TV land.
It bounced in a way I never thought possible for something made of almost entirely metal.
Welcome, Doobie.
Maybe it landed on its rubber wheel
But
first,
shaken.
and that's what gave it a little extra momentum, but somehow it narrowly missed the windshield
Welcome.
and scraped against the roof of the car. An orchestra of beeping car horns erupted behind us as we slowed to a stop, but my aunts knew they weren't directed at them for slowing to a stop. I remember a guy from the car behind getting out to see if we were okay, and thank God we were, whereas the pickup in front of us just kept going, probably knowing full well that they'd be subject to arrest or something for not securing their load properly. So yeah, that's
What's
definitely the
new,
scariest
and how are
thing
you?
I ever had happen to me on a car journey, by a long shot.
Welcome. Hope you had a good day.
A Blue, Blue Christmas from Mr. Mediocre. It was
Listen to
past
some
midnight
haunted
on
tales
Christmas Eve. I was
on the
working at my
radio.
local
It'll be
grocery
nighttime
store.
soon.
I was cleaning the storage area, nothing out of the ordinary, just a mop and a bucket. This store was quite old, a relic of the 1950s. Few things had ever been updated here. The Christmas music ran on an unending loop, around and around. Strangely, we could change the music, but we couldn't shut it off. As I mopped the floor, the lights flickered and went out.
Driving the
I was
coast
surrounded by total darkness.
of California, headed north up
The
to
nearly
Humboldt County.
70-year-old speakers picked up their next song. It was I'll Have a Blue Christmas by Elvis. I felt around until
Right
I found
on.
the double doors that led back into the main store.
I
knew my friend Carl
Right
was just
on.
over in the next aisle, stocking shelves.
am 5 days
I called
into
out to him.
COVID and I am winning.
Hey, Carl, man,
And it's my
you
birthday.
there?
And please
Nothing.
be safe.
Megan.
Awesome.
Tim?
Lucky you.
I was
Grandkids.
shouting
Lucky
now.
you. Awesome.
Still no response.
I'm doing pretty
The
good.
music
Always in
kept on
good
playing,
spirits.
though. I checked my
I'm
phone.
55 today.
No signal.
And so
Then
welcome.
I
Thank you
heard
for the kind
something.
chat.
Something that sounded like it was being dragged over the floor. I felt along the aisle wall and moved forward. I called out. Hello? Who's there?
I have to remember I'm not racing.
The movement stopped. Then, something seemed to turn towards me. Every hair on my arm raised as I heard this ghastly, beastly thing around the corner. I threw down my mop, and I ran back into the storage room. I threw myself into the dry foods pantry, and I latched the door.
I remember this story.
The music went on as if nothing had happened. The lyrics singing, "You'll be doing all right with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue, 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 blue Christmas."
He's terrified.
I stayed in the pantry for what felt like an hour. The lights flickered and came back on.
Thank you very much.
I slowly peeked my head out of the pantry.
Gracias.
But I saw nothing. I walked out and found my mop, which I'd thrown on the ground earlier. Nothing was missing, nothing out of place.
He was
no
in the pantry
shelves
a lot
disturbed.
longer than he thought.
This was strange. I walked to the front of the store. There was no one here, no one in any of the aisles, until finally I saw the store manager, Craig. Craig looked at me puzzled. "Michael, how did you get in here?" "Sir, I came in for my shift last night."
That pantry in the
He
Twilight
looked at me,
Zone.
still confused. "Michael, it's 5 a.m. My heart sank. I ran over to the time clock. I was sure I'd clocked out of work at 11:30 p.m. the previous night. I went home then, and I never went back to work there.
He's terrified.
Buried in Vinyl, from Minty Bow. When I was growing up, my grandparents would rent out these inflatable water slides to people, and I would help them to get some extra cash. It wasn't anything super complex or extravagant, just some simple slides with those ladder steps and the slide that leads into a small pool. So I thought it was simple work. Besides, I loved spending time with my papa, and most of the jobs went quite smoothly. But then there was this one. We had a customer that needed the slide set a certain way with the back end going down a slope. When we went to pick it up, the inside near the back end was filled with water that we couldn't reach with the vacuum from the outside. One of us had to go in, and what that really meant was I had to go in, due to my papa's bad knee. It was simple. We'd open the flap, get the vacuum in, let it reinflate, then open the flap again for me to go in and start sucking out water. It was fine at first, but because of the heat, we had to keep the flap partially open so that I wouldn't bake alive. That meant as I was sucking out the water, the entire slide was slowly collapsing down around me. We would stop so I could get out occasionally and let it reinflate. But during every time those vinyl walls came down around me, I couldn't help but think about them trapping me in, alone, boiling alive, crushed into the remaining water in the slide. Just that thought alone made me start to hyperventilate. I had to get out of there all of a sudden, and lo and behold, that last exit was the one where the cord from the vacuum wrapped around my ankle. If I had been alone, or if we were any slower that day, that nightmare could have come true. We got the slide mostly drained, wrapped it up, and brought it home to clean. We made a new promise from then on: no one goes into the slide ever.
Scary.
A haunted grocery store. From a pet.
Right there. Oh, I love what they did. So cool. What was that? Happy Halloween event. That's right. We're going to deliver candy to kids. Right? So we're going to haul some candy.
Somewhere, lost in the clouded annals of history, lies a place called the Unknown, where long-forgotten stories are revealed to those who travel through the world.
What if one of you is the monster? Why don't you turn back before it's too late?
He feeds those pigs dead people.
Gracias.
And then he eats the pigs.
Awesome. Whew. Yeah, I have to give my brain a rest. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers with MS. It's so weird.
He's dashing. He's dreamy. Delightfully dramatic. But he's demented.
Doobie Lit. Good name. You're in the right place.
He's dead. Another man too. He's taking a break. The lab is a shambles.
I'm focusing.
The heart resumes its normal beat.
If you only had a heart.
I dreamt I was sleeping.
Yeah. Coming up on. Thank you, Itchy. Right on, man.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Gracias, muchacho. Good to see you, Itchy. I hope I see you playing Hunt again soon. Good to see you, dude. I know I'll be on your stream tomorrow if you're streaming. Right on.
When was the last time you were stuck?
Rock and roll, thank you. I'm 55.
Just the wind. What if this haunting sound kept you awake night after night? What if it was just a warning? What if it was the last sound you ever heard?
A scientific experiment.
Thanks, bro. Big hugs.
Nightmare. As a creature from hell.
I've had COVID since Saturday, but I'm doing pretty good. I was sick Saturday and Sunday. 742. More experience this time around. I hope next time around I get to be a yak. I want to be a yak. Or maybe a monkey. A little spider monkey. With a fez. And the cymbals and a drum.
The phone's dead. Did you hear anything up on the roof? Do you think we need to go up there?
Right on. Yeah. Something cool. Right on, man. Thanks for saying hey. I was just taking a break. I had to take my brain to take a break from the game. What do we have?
You mean it sucked other people's brains?
Suck my brains, that's right.
Through the eyes.
Love that, Jack. So what was your character today, Itchy? If you're still there, you might be streaming. What was your favorite chosen character that you got to play today? Your hero that you were gaming with? You're always gaming something different, something interesting. So what was your chosen cool hero of the day in Dead by Daylight? Oh, right on. That happy birthday, I think, was from Resident Evil 7. That happy birthday wishes. It was the best one I could find. Thank you guys for hitting that button. Bitchin'. It gives me a boner in my heart. Good to see you, pal. Oh, fucking ad break. I'm getting there. Yeah, me too. I'm gonna make some spaghetti. You can hear me, cool. Hey, Doobie, right on. Thanks for being friendly, cool. Thanks for the good vibes. And thanks for the birthday wishes. And please be safe wherever you may roam. Hope I see you again. When I'm not ill. Right on, cool. Good. Good, good. I have to say though, when ads play, I think Twitch has the only ads that I've ever liked. I actually like Twitch's ads. Yeah, right on, Doobie. I actually like Twitch. Twitch actually, I think, plays good ads for me. I don't like ads, but Twitch plays good ads. If they always play useful ads. Like where I can get some new fangs. Right on. Doobie, I gotta throw you a follow back. Right on. Cool beans.
I suppose you spend all night in the pumpkin patch.
Yeah, check you out.
Pumpkin never showed up? Well,
Right on.
I've done a lot of stuff
Awesome.
in my life too.
Dude, that's my favorite. A lot of people play that. I play that sometimes too. I go to play a game, but I end up playing no game. And then we end up chatting all night, and that's alright. Rock and roll. Itchy, good to see ya. Yeah, the stream, like I've done a few short streams over the past 5 days and it knocks me out. So tomorrow I'll be on my ass. But I'm watching War of the Worlds with Gabriel Byrne, and they're in France. They're in France. Right? I think. Yeah, we're in France in War of the Worlds. Somewhere. Lost in the cloud, in the annals of history. In the butthole of history. Mummy. What do you call a mummy covered in chocolate and nuts? Thank you. I don't know. A Pharaoh Roach. Right on. You gonna be streaming tomorrow? Or will you be streaming in the morning, Itchy? Or do you know? Because you stream every day. Usually. And I hope you're feeling better. How are you doing? I hear ya. I hear ya. Keep your chin up, man. Keep your chin up. I hear ya. I know that regimen. Yeah. And it's not always narcolepsy for me either. I'm with ya. I can relate, is what I mean to say. Demented Death Farm Massacre. Over at Itchy's Dead by Daylight game. Demented Death Farm Massacre. I love Halloween. Itchy, what was your first Halloween costume? Huh. I was Casper the Friendly Ghost. And that was Cowboy. And then Smokey the Bear. Frankenstein. The Hulk. Spider-Man. Pooh Bear, I was never Pooh Bear. I love Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, I got Winnie the Pooh tattoo on my ass. On the other ass cheek, I got Elmer Fudd with the gun. On my butt cheek, the tattoo. He's pointing to my butthole. Yes, I swear. I'll show you guys on live stream. And it's got a little caption. It says, "Come out of there, you screwy rabbit. I know you're in there." Happy birthday.
A scientific experiment turns into a nightmare.
Soda.
As a creature from hell, buried since the dawn of time, is restored to life.
Dude, I've got a glow-in-the-dark freaking hockey mask, man. I gotta freaking I was gonna put it on for you guys. I do Halloween. We tell the Halloween stories. For Halloween, I'm gonna be sharing my own personal paranormal experiences, mostly from Civil War battlefields here in the Mid-Atlantic. I have a lot of stories, creepy stories to sell, with photos. Not I can't say there's photos of ghosts. Maybe you guys will see something in the photos that I never saw before. Who knows? But I'll share some stories. Stuff scared the shit out of me. Yeah, I could see that. 6'5". I could see that right on. Michael Myers, right on. Oh man, those fucking movies were so goddamn scary in the freaking in the theater when they came out. The originals, holy shit. We were teenagers. I remember. I remember when The Howling came out. Yeah, I can hear those tunes right on. When The Howling came out, The Howling, we went to see The Howling when it first came to the theaters, the original Howling. We went with my friends, the Sharps. So Timmy and Tommy Sharp were my friends. I grew up in the neighborhood. We were probably like 10 years old, right? And so his mom and dad and me and my two pals, we got popcorn and soda and shit. We're all sitting down. Me and Tommy, his mom and dad, and Timmy's sitting behind us. Timmy's sitting behind us, and Timmy's my age. And so we're sitting there watching The Howling. It's one of the scariest scenes. There's like a werewolf in a window, and he's gonna burst through the window. And the whole audience is about to scream. And Timmy, right before the werewolf does, Timmy stands up. He freaking... And the entire audience got a pre-scream. He scared the shit out of the audience. His parents dropped the popcorn, dropped the soda, man. They were pissed. Oh man, good memories. Horror films. Love horror films. Michael Myers. Good memories, thought I'd share. Man, Timmy scared the shit out of the whole theater. He dampened the actual real horror scene. It was good. It was funny as hell. And my friends, I'm going to sign off. It's 11:30 p.m. here in the Gettysburg battlefield. And I am your COVID birthday host. And you guys, thanks for the kind birthday wishes and the kind vibes and the kind company. Truly. Yep. I'm 55 and I'm chilling. And I think I'm doing pretty good kicking COVID's ass. That shit hit me like napalm on Saturday, and then Saturday and Sunday I was out of commission, and but I'm doing pretty good. I think I'm doing better. Rock and roll. Watching some War of the Worlds with Gabriel Byrne. They're in France. Good show. Eat some grub, chill with my cat. And I know I will see you all on your channels or mine. My talking's getting a little slow. And so, my friends, kind vibes to you all, and thank you for the kind company on my birthday. And I'll see you all real soon. Itchy big hugs. Keep smiling. Keep your chin up.
I don't understand it. I went trick-or-treating and all I got was a bag full of rocks. I suppose you spend all night in the pumpkin patch. And the great pumpkin never showed up? No. Well, don't take
Right
it too
on.
hard, Linus. I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, too.
Keep on trucking, y'all. I'll see y'all real soon. Thanks for spending a little bit of your time and a little bit of mine.
Riders on the storm.